Hello and welcome back to the Pop Tab Podcast. I am Brent, one of your hosts, the upholder of the unpopular opinion. Joining me today is always the ghost host, Jacob Stokes.
Boo!
I forgot the podcast that's as sweet as soda for breakfast. That's why. I was all thrown off. Hello and welcome back to the Pop Tab Podcast, the podcast that's as sweet as soda for breakfast. I am one of your hosts, Brent Kruscke, the holder of the unpopular opinion. And joining me today is always the ghost host, Jacob Stokes.
I gave my boo.
The Pop Tab Podcast is filmed in front of a live studio audience on Twitch. And if you want to be part of that audience, head on over to twitch.tv/RollPixel to do just that. Or if you just want to hear the VOD later on, you can check us out on YouTube. Or if you just want to listen later on, you can check us out on Patreon. As we do, we start every podcast with a little bit of housekeeping that usually takes us about 45 minutes to an hour to get through.
Well, what we watched isn't housekeeping.
That's true. What we watched isn't housekeeping. So a little bit of housekeeping is streams for this week. Thursday, Friday will be Bloodborne. I'm going to take Saturday off to be with the wife because I was gone all weekend. And then Sunday she works. So what else are we going to do? We're going to play some more games. I don't know if I will be playing Monster Hunter or Bloodborne. I'm going to see if Alec or somebody's available to hop on some Monster Hunter. Play a little bit this weekend, it being launch weekend and stuff like that. And we're going to talk about it today.
We rearranged some stuff. Gundam is now Thursday.
Oh.
So that Saturday afternoon can be Monster Hunter.
Okay. Gundam's Thursday. There will be Bloodborne and possibly Monster Hunter this week. That'll be the schedule right now. I like
Tentative
it. I like
question marks.
I like when we go live. You're like, oh, by the way, here's a curveball. And I went,
I know. Well, it was decided last night because I was saying, oh, I'll see you Saturday for the thing, and they're like, oh, Derek was actually bitching about Saturday because Monster Hunter, and I was like, that's a fair thing to bitch about. I wouldn't want to go to a Gundam build thing either. If my favorite game came out,
that's fair,
and it's a co-op game, I'd be like, why are you guys making plans? No, are you in or are you in? You know, whatever.
Well,
then
fair.
I'm out. No, you're in already.
No, you're in. Sorry.
So I guess I've already committed. And my Friday and my Sunday, those days are taken.
Dang, okay.
Well, I guess Friday evening, I could do anything I want Friday.
Yeah, during the day.
Friday evening's taken.
Okay.
And then Sunday, is my chore day, busy day, whatever.
Yep.
So Saturday, that's all I got.
Shifted to Thursday.
So I'll give it to Derek. And I was saying, because we normally do family dinner that night as well, I was thinking maybe I'll ask if anyone wants to do family breakfast.
So that we Saturday or?
Saturday, okay. So we can just round the clock, marathon it.
Oh, shit. Going hard.
He is, and I'm there to help him.
Okay, cool.
I'm here to help my boy get hard. Go hard.
Either way, your support. Your support through and through.
That's right.
However,
I have to.
So that's what streams are. Obviously, a little bit loose on the schedule, but we'll figure it out. There's going to be Bloodborne. That's what everyone wants to see. Actually,
is that true?
Yeah, a lot of people love watching Bloodborne.
Well, last time I watched you watch Bloodborne, I don't know anyone who was in there, or at least chatting. I was like, oh, it's people who just sit and watch Bloodborne all day.
It is true. There's a lot of people watching Bloodborne, but I had...
That's how it goes.
The unfortunate thing is I ended up starting to stream, and Alchemist is always like, sick. I got work in 45 minutes. I go, God damn it, you were like the one person that really wanted to watch Bloodborne. And every time I picked a stream, you end up working. So one day I'll find a day where he's not working and we'll be able to ball out.
That's savage.
So... But there's a lot of Bloodborne still left to go.
The way you treat him is terrible.
I know. I'm an awful person. But So, and then, I guess we'll just get into what we watched. Because that's all stream, right?
That wraps up housekeeping.
Yeah, housekeeping.
It's been 3 minutes.
Okay, cool.
See, not so bad.
That's okay. In my head, I go, the housekeeping is what we've watched. Because it's not like...
Because it's a guarantee.
Well,
because it's like a segment.
Yeah, because in my head... When the show starts is let's dive in.
Well,
that's
if we have a topic, but sometimes we talk about the movies because we don't have a topic.
That's true. Got a couple different topics. So, what movies did you watch? Because you actually saw worthwhile movies. The only movies I watched were Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3.
Worthwhile movie. Oh, you watched Rush Hours?
Yeah.
What's left to say about those movies?
They're perfect.
Yeah, they're great. They're great.
They're of a time.
Which one's your favorite?
They're great. Still 2.
Me too.
I've seen 2 so many times.
Yeah.
After rewatching them too, I'm like, 2 has just got the moments for me. I don't know what it is. Because I feel like the first one, you're building the relationship. And even though the second one, a lot of the jokes are just callbacks from the first movie, I think they're done better and almost pay off better. I don't know. It's good.
I also just like the actual sort of the problem they face in 2 versus 1.
Yeah.
And it's it feels a little less East and West mixing together. Oh, are they friends? Aren't they friends? Whatever. It's like, no, they're on the ride together.
Yeah.
You just get to see them be fun.
You see them get fun. There's a bumpy
But
moment.
I don't know what it is about 3 that doesn't work as well as 2 for me. So 3 is lower than 2.
Well, for me,
I think I would go maybe 2, 3, 1. Shout out.
For me, the 3, my thing is the movie starts and they're like in a feud already, a feud we don't see start. And then they've got to rebuild from that feud, but we don't see the feud.
I've only
so it's
seen
like
it once because I remember being like, that was fun. Not as fun.
Well, essentially, it's Chris Tucker's like, "Hey, Lee, I got some girls. Let's go hit it." And he's like, "No, I don't want to. No." And he's like, "Oh, you still mad?" He's like, "You shot my girlfriend," which is how they kind of like do away with the girl from 2 being interested in Lee. They're like, "Oh, Chris Tucker shot her," and he's like, "Come on, man. Her eye will." If you just pick one eye to look at or whatever and all this different stuff and
Nice.
Things like that. So it's like they're already in a feud, so they're trying to like become friends again, where I'm like, dude, we already established they're ride or die in 2. Just keep them ride or die. I think, because they're talking about doing a 4th one. We've done, the first one had to deal with the daughter of the public official or whatever, and that's what the 3rd one is too, except is the daughter grown up, they're still dealing with the same people trying to attack, yada yada. The second one is very much like a Lee family problem. The 3rd one's got Lee's brother and stuff like that. So it's like there's family with all of Jackie Chan's stuff. We need to bring Chris Tucker's life into 4. Like something's got to go wrong with his life, and Lee's got to help him out because that has not happened yet. We haven't seen that, and I think that would be a cool way to go with it. We'll see if it happens though.
If it ever gets
I
made.
hear talking about it. Actually, I did hear recently.
Rush Hour 4 has probably been in production for 15 years.
Probably. I mean, I think Rush Hour 3 was probably in production from 2 till we got 3, which was 6 years, I think. 6 or 7 years, so probably. I did hear Keanu Reeves come out and talk about how they got approval from DC to start working on Constantine 2.
Oh.
So they pitched an idea. DC said yes. They're working on the script. So that's cool. He's like, we've been trying to get this going for 10 years.
James Gunn has that on his list of movies he's making, no? I thought that was not that he himself is directing, but I thought it was already on the slate.
Maybe. I don't know.
I've stopped taking superhero movies and looking too far forward.
That's fair.
Apparently Mike Flanagan is attached to make a Clayface movie.
Oh, I have heard
But I heard that and I'm like, I because it's Clayface, I have to just not care as much. I'm just like, all right, I'll wait.
Right, because what happened to Dark Tower and all that stuff, right? That he was doing. So it's like, when would that movie even happen if it's going to? Dang, I didn't save it.
TV show.
Dark Tower?
Clayface would be the movie, yeah.
Yeah. Dark Tower has like the show and then a movie, right? And a show and a movie. So it's like, that's a 6-year process, right? So would we get Clayface in 2034?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. So unless he does like, oh, I'll do Dark Tower movie, take a break, Clayface, jump back. I don't know. But I saved it. I thought I saved it. I didn't though. But it showed like all that what it looks like for different what Superman looks like, and it's a James Gunn, and it shows the shot of the trailer where he's like laying in the snow, and it's got Cosmo, Crypto. Cosmo's the other one.
I make that mistake a lot.
And then it goes Zack Snyder, and it's the same shot of Superman, but Crypto's buff and has a gun. And then it says Zack Snyder's director's cut, and the coloring's all really cool, and there's blood all around Superman, and Crypto's more jacked with a gun. And then it shows a couple other ones, but I was just saving it for those first 3. It was really funny. So anyway, you watched one movie that was worthwhile talking about. What is it?
Well, I watched The Fly.
Oh, the OG?
Oh, no, the Goldblum.
Goldblum, okay.
I love that movie.
That one's good.
Yeah.
Some scenes are still hard to watch for me. I'm like, this is really gross. Like...
Yeah, none of it for me. I mean, the fingernail's about as close as it gets because it's so slow, and of course, it's a fingernail.
I think the fingernail is tough. For me, it's like all the vomit and the eating and it's like all that's like,
I laugh at that. I think it's hilarious.
I feel it in my mouth. I'm like, I want to spit.
Him vomiting on the donuts, being like, oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You haven't seen this yet. Oh, whoopsies.
Yeah. Or doesn't he like spit out teeth? And he's like teeth are in his hands at one point.
Yeah, that's not in the vomit or anything.
No,
but he does.
The teeth is also. I think something with the mouth. Everything that happens with the mouth is. I'm just like.
You're like, no, please, please, I don't want that. Yeah, it was fun. We did it for the Monster Movie Club, and because I was able to take the speakers from the store in.
Do they work better? The speakers, they worked better than what you had?
Well, I mean, it's coming out of a projector that's this big. Yeah. Anything with a driver in it, it was
significantly
Yeah,
better?
it
Good.
felt like I was in Dolby Atmos comparatively, dude. Shit was crazy. He was like, "Is this 7.1?"
Whoa, when did we get to the IMAX? That's crazy.
Right. Yeah, holy cow. But it was interesting. We had more people this time,
that's
but
good.
nobody was the same.
Oh, weird.
Except for one person. Well, and obviously,
And you
obviously
and
me and
me,
Chris.
yeah.
Me and Chris, the guy who were kind of running it, but one person who came a second time. Everybody else was new, but we had more people. And I was like, that's kind of weird. What's the third one going to look like?
You know, that guy walked in and went, "Oh shit, did I not get the memo? Is this like a one-time thing? Like, why did I repeat?"
No. She ended up coming to The Monkey as well, which is the other movie I watched. Because
okay.
that was a sort of movies on the go with the club, like posted in the group thing of like, hey, we're going to go to this movie. Here's the time if anyone wants to show up.
Okay.
So
She seems
a couple from the first group showed up. Lisa, who went to both, and then Justin actually from Thai Tuesday. Justin from Thai Tuesday showed up. Me, Chris. So 6 of us.
So, and she seems in. She's doing both things and a random like throwaway. Hey, we're doing this movie thing.
Well,
That's
it was funny
cool.
too that I guess probably didn't talk about it much, but the second showing, I was saying the first one had a lot of people who were quiet, and we didn't start at the right time, and we were all in different rooms, and it was kind of weird mixing and matching with people, and there was a lot of me saying funny quip and a lot of like, oh yeah. And it was like, all right, well, I guess that one just is not going
That's
anywhere.
weird,
Like
yeah.
I'm trying to like give a segue into anyone else's favorite horror movie.
I had one of those at Magiccon when we were at the Dragon Shield thing. I went to talk to the artist, Bridget Roca. She was in there, and I was just like, "Hey, I just want to say I'm a real big fan of your art. I really like it. I'm newish to Magic as like a whole, with like really looking at all the different cards. So I was unfamiliar with your cards, but I like all the stickers. I grabbed one. I like your prints and things like that." She's like, "Oh, cool, thanks." I went, "Yeah, I think it was really cool. This isn't like a go up at a desk thing. She's in a party that I'm at," and I was like, "We could have like a
there's
conversation."
a back and forth we can do
And
here.
she was very much, "Oh, sweet, appreciate it." I was like, "Okay, cool, yeah. I just want to let you know." She's like, "Yeah, sweet. I'll see you later."
I'll see you later. Yeah,
that was it. And I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, he was always taken up, but the guy I want to talk to is another artist there, Schmandrew Art.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think his name's like Andrew something, but he just goes by Schmandrew.
Were you there when I was like, somebody told me that, and I went, "Schmandrew Art. God, of course he had to grow up to be an artist if he had a name like that." And they're like, "No, that's just like his handle in between his real name." I was like, "Oh, okay." Because someone just said that. I was like, "Wow, Schmandrew
No, that wasn't
Art."
me. That's hilarious.
I was
though.
just like, "That's crazy. I'll look for him."
I don't want to say Andrew Schultz because I think that's somebody else, but Andrew Schultz, it's like that's the kind of name he
Yeah.
had. But his card name is Schmandrew, whatever. But if you look at his banner and anywhere else he is, it'll say his name.
Andrew, like in
Andrew
quotes.
Schmandrew Art.
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
his last name
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's only done 6 cards for the game. But he had a shitload of art there that was just some of the coolest stuff I've ever seen. Actually, I met Justin yesterday. He gave me Gundams. I gave him a playmat from Schmandrew Art.
Oh, nice.
His had like the selective foiling on it and stuff. It was great. We'll get more about the Magiccon later.
Yeah. I'll save my thing.
The second week or the second showing that we did, which was a month later-ish, was The Fly. And again, everybody else was new. And there was somebody else there that looked like me. We had a lot of the same stuff going on, whatever, and we were just talking like back and forth. And Lisa was actually like, "Hey, I think you two might be soulmates." Because we started talking about favorite movies, and I was like, "Oh yeah, but 6 foot straight white guys, something." We were talking about Companion, about how that movie might have been pandering to me, but it worked. I got pandered. I liked it. And then he put his favorite one was Midnight Mass, was because we did like a name tag with our favorite movies on it.
Okay.
And I was like, "Oh, nice. Did you like this? Did you like this?" And later on, he brings up Heretic and how he loved it. And I was like, "Oh, so you and I, we really like the same stuff, religious trauma."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Dude, so much trauma." It was real fun. But there was just a lot more people who were wanting to talk. So I was like, "Oh, this is great." I just chat with everybody. There was only 2 people I didn't. One, I'm sad because his favorite movie was The Ritual.
Oh, you wonder if they saw like the post for the first one? They're like, "I don't want to get let down. Maybe they won't do a second. I'll see." The second one
maybe.
came up and they're like, "All right."
I think
they're trying.
Well, from what I could tell, it was Lisa's friends who came this time around.
Oh, okay.
And then a couple other people who just, "Oh, sorry, I couldn't make the first one." That's partially why we switched to a Wednesday. Because it switched like weekdays, like day of the week, to try to fit more people. Like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know that day didn't work for you. Let's try something else." So,
But Wednesday seems like the day now.
maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might be trying to move it again.
Gotcha.
So we'll see. But
There might be a perfect
Yeah.
Venn diagram
And-
middle.
I think three people from GT Games came.
Oh, okay.
So I get a "Hey Stokes" when I'm on. I'm like, oh, hello. Like, it's cool to see people that I know and actually be able to speak more with them. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, went really well. Excited for another one. The people from the Cherry Bowl Drive-In did not show up, but it was kind of a maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't. They didn't know for sure. But they're excited to host things in the future with us.
Given the next movie lined up?
Yeah, well, because we try to theme them in some way. I think this next one is Leprechaun 2.
Okay.
Because it's St. Patty's Day for March.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It'll be
March.
It's not in this month anymore. We're looking into March.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
After that, it gets a kind of just like, they're just movies. Like
Gotcha.
we skip a lot of the whatever, but I didn't set the movies. Chris did, based off what he has, what he wants to buy, whatever. And I gave it a look over, and I was like, oh, none of these are bad. Like, they all make good sense. Maybe July, I could think of a more patriotic horror movie that would be fun, but I'm like, I haven't thought that far ahead. So.
Yeah. Man, the Leprechaun, like all of those movies are cheap. Like Leprechaun was never a big budget horror movie or whatever. But man, there's some scenes in that first one I go, wow, you guys made this with $4.
Well, that's why he chose Leprechaun 2. I haven't seen that one. A lot of people were hoping that we could do Leprechaun into Hood.
Oh, okay.
Because I was like, that would be it's different.
It's a little bit weird.
But
or Leprechaun in Space, just a little different, a little stranger. Yeah.
I said as long as it's not Origins, because that one's just bad.
Yeah. I think for me, every time I think of Leprechaun, obviously I think of Jennifer Aniston and go, wow, I can't believe that she was in that movie. But for me, it's when they start throwing shoes and he's got to clean them and he picks them up and starts rubbing them off. I'm just like, this is a horror villain. What a weird fucking thing. So weird. Oh, man.
Well, The Fly got my heart because I already love that movie.
Yeah,
it's great seeing Gina Davis. I think we're going to change up the AV a little bit because the movie, I couldn't tell if it was like, is this VHS softness or is this, I needed to change the focus a little bit.
Oh, on the projector?
Because I changed the focus before we hit play, which means I changed the focus on the no signal or the play in the top left corner but before the movie. So,
which is the VHS outputting, right? Not the actual, the VCR outputting, not the actual VHS.
Right.
So the video will be different on the focus, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, I'd rather do it to the video because it's the video.
Yeah.
So I don't know. But we'll figure that out later. So,
do you guys watch the trailers on the VHS before the movie?
There are no trailers on the VHS.
Oh, really?
Yeah, VHS. No, not on the ones that we've had. At least.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I don't know if it's because we've only done ones that are like so old.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, because I mean I don't know. I forget when The Fly came out, but 80.
I guess in my head when I think of VHS,
86.
No, there's definitely trailers on other VHSs.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of trailers on VHSs. I almost was about to say there aren't any, like period. And I was like, well, that's not true.
Yeah.
I can think of a lot of movies that just don't, but there's also so many that
I just remember that screen that's
coming
like,
soon to a theater near you.
I think in my head I kept thinking of Disney things. That's why I was like, oh, maybe it's just kids movies because I thought of Disney and I thought of like Ninja Turtles, the FHE logo.
Didn't
and all
I show
that.
you the one that we saw before Hellboy or something that was all blue? And I was like, that trailer had nudity in it. That was crazy. Like I just saw boobs in that trailer. What the hell? And it was like a green band or whatever.
What was the trailer?
Oh, I don't remember the movie.
Oh, okay.
But it was just atrocious. Just atrocious. If I remember, I think Billy Loomis was in it.
Okay.
Skeet Ulrich. I think Skeet Ulrich was in the movie. So I'll look that up later. But just one of the worst trailers I've ever seen. I was like, wow, look at the year on this. It's the bluest movie, like the blue on the wall blue.
Yep.
It was like, holy shit. I'm underwater.
There's yeah, I just picture that and then think of the feature presentation, and it's like I put in this VHS. Like it's just so weird that you're presenting me the movie in my home. But yeah,
you know,
it's still cool.
But then I did watch The Monkey. Went with the crew. We watched The Monkey. 6 of us. I sat so far back.
Bang, 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 bang.
It's a
drum. It's drum. Sorry, drum.
But I sat far back in the row because it was, of course, one guy leads and just goes all the way to the back. Weird thing though, because I was at the end of the snake, we'll call it, the end of the line. He went so far left that I ended up in the middle.
That is weird.
And I was like, where are you going? Where are you headed?
That is strange.
I mean, I'm a judgy person when it comes to people in movies anyway.
Yeah, why are you going all the way up?
Why'd you go all the way up?
Yeah.
Why'd you sit all the way left? Why'd you laugh at that? No, it wasn't that bad. No one would laugh too loud. No one ate too loud. Nothing. No noises. No anything crazy.
Okay, good.
They're all respectable movie watchers, but it was just like, it's not the worst thing sitting back here, but the audio sucks. The visual's fine. I can just see all the visual, but the audio's bad.
Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't an IMAX, right? It was a standard.
No, I don't think they released it in IMAX.
That
but
makes sense.
It was just a standard. But the movie was funnier than I expected in a different way, and that it was very dry.
Okay.
It was very dry funny. I had heard it compared to like a Final Destination earlier, and it's very Final Destination in its type of, the way it kills people. That it's just like, wow, that's just a crazy accident, like the craziest accident you could ever visualize onto a camera. But it didn't have a reason to kill any one person. Whereas, of course, there's the plane crash in the first movie or any of the other things, the roller coaster, the racetrack, the whatever. This didn't have a reason. It was just like, spin this thing, someone dies.
Gotcha.
And it seems to have some sort of locality to it, but that's it.
Is it locale, or is it people they know or interacted
Locale.
with at something? Okay.
Locale. I mean, I guess, is there technically there might have been some interaction things, but based on what I saw, I don't
they
think
don't know the hotel clerk, but they went, oh, thanks for the keys, walked away, and then that's why the hotel clerk or something like that.
Well, but there's kind of we'll call them off-screen deaths because they're just things that are spoken to us, and they are such a crazy random set of people that I'm like, I guess that he could have encountered, or someone could have encountered these people, but I didn't see it, and I don't see a line from how all this connects. And eventually, it's just like, no, it's locale. Like by the very end, I'm like, it has to be. But the deaths were all really fun to watch.
That's good.
There was a couple that I think they cut early, not to save on budget, but to make it funnier.
Oh,
like a Screams cut just in time. Like I don't know if you've ever seen that kind of like Reddit trend or whatever. Perfectly timed scream.
Yeah.
Those kinds of things that were just hilarious. It just resulted in fun that I was like, oh, and then maybe they flash it back later, but there was some fun kills. Other than that, though, like as a structural movie, I might have just been tired from Chicago, but I was pretty sleepy through it. I don't really care for the pacing, and I didn't give a shit about a single character.
Oh.
Not a single one, their interactions, their relationships, their whatever. I was like, I think this is meant to be comedic how stupid this is, like how little they're doing all this over. But I just don't care, and I don't find it funny. Like I was hopeful that this maybe would be tender or funnier, but it just seems to be neither. And it was almost one of those types of performances that's like I don't want to say uncanny, but there's something that's like no human would act like this. It's like that's part of the joke, is like that's how dry you are, is you're just taking it all at face value and just continuing. It also had a weird like sort of not 70s, but the intro credits and everything with the way the letters are shaped is like the mid-century modern style. So we'll say 60s or 70s, the Art Deco.
Okay.
But the beginning of the movie takes place in the 90s, like the late 90s. It's like 99, I think. And I was like, okay, so we're in the 90s, but I'm also not hearing 90s music, but this house looks kind of 90s. And the school and the way the kids are dressed at school are 90s, but all the shit that you're showing me with all the fonts and everything, because there's 1999, the next day, here's what, like those kinds of spellouts are all Art Deco. And then the music they play is also from the 60s. They played Sam Cooke in the final credits of the movie.
Okay.
And I was like, what? But then the main bits of the movie take place 25 years later. So 2024,
right now-ish,
25, right now.
Present day, for lack of
but a lot of it takes place in the childhood home or nearby and whatever. And one of the guys is stuck in the 90s because of what happened early in the movie. And I was like, so we are getting barely anything today. We're getting like stuck in the past today. People who are literally stuck in the past, like in the 90s. And then we're getting Art Deco 70. I was like, I don't get the production design of this movie. Like, I'm really kind of lost in the time that you're trying to get me. But it just felt like a movie where it's like, none of this matters. It's here just to watch this monkey kill people in funny ways. But some of the kills were also like, I actually don't see how this was possible, why this was set up this way. Like, you know, like the Final Destination one that I always think of is where the crack on the cup puts the water in the computer and explodes.
Yeah.
And then she grabs the things and the knives and then
grabs
fire.
the towel that she threw up there.
Yeah.
And
all that's funny. It's kind of sets almost like a Rube Goldberg, right?
Yeah.
There's a couple of those in this that I was like, but why was any of this here? Like, it felt more just like, look, we're going to make it look like all this crazy shit happened so that a fucking cannonball goes off or whatever. And I was like, okay, I guess that's here. There's one that takes place at a hibachi that I was like, this is funny to look at, and there's a reaction from these kids that I was like, this makes it all so funny. But the functionality of it, I'm like, I don't get how you got here. I don't get, like, we're in a hibachi and I can't visualize how this happened.
Gotcha.
It just, it's one of those, like, look at you and a piece of the body falls off, you know? And I was like, how'd that happen? They didn't show it happening. They just showed, like, it's kind of like in Ghost Ship.
Oh,
You see the wire prepped and you see you see it hit. And then at the end, you see it, like, raggling, like, all bloody, you know? And then everybody looks and they slide in half or their face falls off or whatever. This was more of just like, look, a head fell off.
weird.
And you're in a hibachi, and that's how that happens, right? And I was like,
What did it show
sure.
you? What caused the head to come off?
I'll say technically.
Oh, okay.
Because, of course, the hibachi shit you hate.
Yeah.
Somebody does a fucking fancy thing with a knife. But I'm like, the knife's like this long, and it's like me to you away, and does a fancy thing with a knife. And at the end, the knife's in my hand. But then your head falls off.
Gotcha.
And I was like, what?
So you had like
How did that happen? Like, you play with angles all you want. I don't see it. But so that was like the problem was, I think the movie did cool kills, and it made me laugh almost every single kill. I was like, that's crazy that they did that. The setup just didn't seem to be there.
Got it.
The background production design didn't be there. And the actors did fine. There's nothing on the actors. It was their characters that I was like, it really didn't get me there.
You gave me nothing to want or need or whatever.
So it was kind of like when a bad setup still has a good payoff. I'm like, that's not a good joke, despite me laughing. I'm looking at it as a whole structure and going, no, not quite. But I did laugh.
Yeah.
So I'm like, maybe we got there, you know, like the end result. So for that reason, it got my heart because I think the funnies are worth it. If Shay ever ended up wanting to watch this movie, I think it'd be fun to watch. But it's just one I don't. You know, like we were joking because they have the monkey as a popcorn bucket, and it looks really good.
Oh, sick.
Like really good at AMC. And I was like, I might buy that if this movie's good. In the first half, I was like, I love this. Like, I'm really digging this. This is working for me. And then it just completely fell apart once we went 25 years in the future. But still got my heart.
Okay.
Still a fun watch.
That's pretty.
But I will say, when we came out, Chris asked me, the guy who I run it with, asked me, he's like, oh my gosh, I loved it. What'd you think? And I was like, yeah, the pacing was weird. Kind of just a quick truncation of what I said. And he goes, that might be my favorite horror movie. And I was like,
wow.
I was like, what? Like maybe he said new favorite horror movie, as in like my favorite new horror movie, not new favorite.
Yeah.
Maybe I heard that weird, but I was like, what? And I had said everything with pacing. And then he turns and the couple comes out of the bathroom, whatever, and they come out and he's like, what do you think? And she's like, the pacing was weird. I really didn't care about any of the characters. She says the exact same thing I does. He goes, that's what he said. And I was like, maybe because it's true. But I was like, you know what? If I'm near a guy who just loves every movie he watches, whatever, dude. What's the worst thing that could happen? You know what I mean? And when I said, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
He didn't go, oh, yeah, I guess, whatever. He didn't feel down. He was just like, oh, what'd you think?
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I guess it got my heart. I would recommend if you like horror movies, it's a fun watch, but it does not need to be seen in theaters.
I was going to say, I probably will rush out.
There's no touch for it to need to be seen in theaters.
Of course, at the same time, we looked the other day and we're like, what's in theaters to watch? And there's really nothing right now. So,
nothing.
So maybe because I do want to get back to the theater because now we get 4 tickets a week with AMC. Bethany hasn't used her pass in a while, so I want to get there. So that's what I was thinking, a Saturday morning.
So I told you Char's Counterattack is coming out March something.
Yeah.
In Grand Rapids. They're re-releasing it in theaters for probably the 40th anniversary. I think it's been that long. But there is a brand new, like a fully new animated Gundam movie out in theaters this next week that Justin's going to check if it's in Grand Rapids, but we might do a day trip just to go see the Gundam movie.
Oh, cool.
And it's a new timeline, new story.
It's
a fresh start. It's a fresh start thing. So if you want to watch that
I guess
one.
we don't know if it's there yet, but dubbed or subbed would be.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what it's going to look like. So I didn't even know it was in theaters yet. I didn't know it had a movie. I thought it was just TV show stuff that was happening.
Is it attached to the Quaxy one or whatever?
Yeah, G-Quacks, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Yes. So is it maybe launching the show with a movie?
I can look it up and see.
That's interesting. But yeah, I watched, like I said, Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3. I played Fortnite last night. There's a new season out. It's got some cool stuff. The swords are gone, which I'm very happy about.
In Fortnite?
Oh, yeah. There is still a baseball bat, and you have Sub-Zero gloves, which I just feel like I'm just making shit up.
It's new season.
New season.
Full new season. Yeah.
So the Sub-Zero gloves are good and fun, but they're not overpowered like the one sword was. And the baseball bat's wicked cool because you can charge it up and literally just like home run people like in Smash Bros, but they just go flying. Because it was like we were all fighting. Die? Well, depending on how weak they are. For me, we were fighting, and I was fighting a guy with a baseball bat. I'm taking him down. He beans me so far away. Like over a hill, I got to run around the hill. I'm still alive, but by the time I got back, everyone else was dead. So now it's me against the whole team because he just beamed me away. And I'm like, that's kind of cool.
That's a cool function.
That doesn't hurt, that doesn't kill me instantly. It doesn't make me feel like I'm so underpowered. And if I knew it a little bit better, I could have dodged it or ran away. But it was a cool like way to have the fight play out. So that was pretty cool. Got a couple wins. They added in some new skins. Disney skins, Disney villain skins. They've got
they just did a Big Hero in the last pass.
They have Maleficent, Captain Hook, some other people, but those were pretty cool. But yeah, just did that, and it's all bank robbery. So it's like on the map, there's different vaults, and what you do is you find
like what they did last season. Well, sorry, not the season with Big Hero 6, the one before that. So 2 ago.
Yeah.
Same thing. It was like the redo of season 2 or something.
Yeah, this one is you find vaults, and then you got to go find thermite, and you place them on the door, and the thermite starts burning like a vault door's got like those rods that go out. It'll slowly like burn through those, and you can shoot them to make it go faster. But then there's like AI that spawn in, and some of them have like boss people that have special medallions and stuff. Then you go in and you can get like special coins that you can go to another area and use to buy guns. There's chests and stuff in there, and then you break the walls and get all the gold and stuff. So there's a lot of fun stuff to do. It was fun last night.
That's good.
It's nothing. I don't think it would be. I think my last time I got super excited for like a Fortnite season, that I'm like, I like everything about this, and it's really cool and additive. Probably was the Avatar one. I thought the Avatar powers were really good.
Oh, the Airbender.
The Airbender, the Water Bender, stuff like that. I thought they were strong. They added a lot of utility on top of being fun to fight with. Like the water bending was sick to fight with. Not overpowered. You still had to aim, but it was like you could have like unlimited ammo. You didn't have to worry about that. It was good. But then also if you got in water when you had it, it healed you. So it's like we would pass around that to heal people if we didn't have any heals instead of just like being out of luck. So I think that was probably the most excited I was this season. This one seems good. I'm glad they took some things away, but nothing's made me love it yet. But
Maybe
see.
there'll be a mid-season update you end up enjoying.
There'll be something probably.
Yeah, it looks like the movie comes out the 28th is all I could find. It doesn't say if it's subbed or dubbed.
Okay.
IMDb only has voice actors for sub.
Yeah.
Is what I can see. I'd still go.
But
it's an hour and 20 minutes long. It's called Mobile Suit Gundam Quacks: The Beginning.
So it's got to prep for the show.
And the show so far has 2 episodes listed, and they come out April 9th is the first episode.
Okay.
So, yeah, this will be a sort of prequel kind of thing, but it's coming out first.
Yeah, that's cool. That's sick. I'm sure it's something where you watch it and it gives you more, but you could probably watch the show without it because I don't think you want to, like, string people to be like, you have to watch this movie in this month before the show starts or you can't start the show. I feel like you'd want it to be watchable either way.
Yeah. Yeah, that it'll only be backstory. It'll
Additive.
only be something. Yeah.
Much like you said when you were watching the movies that came out before the first season, where it's like you essentially watched all these characters build up to the season, but you didn't need that to watch the season of the show.
Yeah, you watch the season, you get exactly who they are, their role, their whatever, but their deaths or their moments or whatever just have less weight to them because you don't have the build up, which, for that, in their case, pilot show made in the 70s.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. They got their budget cut and everything. They're not trying to flesh out 50 characters, but now that we have 50 years of it almost, 45 years this year, I guess.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, 70s is different, but like TV animated shows for a long time weren't ever given like, I would say the proper like time and date and like reverence as other TV shows. I know Kevin Smith talked about when he was doing the Clerks animated show they aired the episodes out of order, and I think the first episode they aired was either second or third episode, and that whole episode's gimmick was they were doing callbacks to the 2 episodes previous, but because it aired first, none of the jokes landed, obviously, and it never made any sense. That's why the show only ran like 12 episodes, because it's just like they just were like, yeah, we'll just put it out whenever.
Out of order?
Yeah,
That's why.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Someone just hit play and they're like, yeah, we got to throw this up. Didn't care. I don't know.
Weird.
But yeah. Anyway,
So that's what you've been playing.
that's what I've been playing.
You watched me be playing nothing
Yep.
since we last did whatever. I've been playing a little bit more Avowed,
Yep.
but this week will be Monster Hunter.
Monster Hunter, and then was it 2 weeks from now?
Also be playing some Overwatch, I'm sure, getting some dailies and
No,
weeklies
it's
done.
April. Never mind. April is Split Fiction that I always want to call Split Faction, but that one's the next big one that I'm excited for.
Oh, it's April?
I think it's April. I thought April 8th, but there's also, like I said, a lot of anime coming out in April. I might be getting that date confused.
All sorts of busy.
Yeah, April's crazy. If April's also when that Quacks comes
It's
out.
March 6th.
March
It comes
6th?
out next week.
Next week. Okay. Sick.
So you were way off.
I was way off. Well, I was
You
a
were
month off.
right, and then you were off.
Yeah. I thought it was
Well-
next week.
A month is a lot different in the world of games,
Yeah.
especially because this month it is Monster Hunter, right into Split Fiction, right into Assassin's Creed Shadows, and then I think it's early April. I think is South of Midnight, but the Xbox stuff is coming so soon that it's also like, oh,
Is
man,
April
there's-
Expedition 33? Is that where I'm getting that date?
looking.
I had April 8th in my head for something, and I don't know why.
April 24th.
Okay, it is April, but I don't know what April 8th is. Oh, well.
Just what's happening, April?
Who
Just
knows?
Google that.
Fucking
See what comes out.
Oh, I thought you were.
No,
Oh,
I wasn't
okay,
actually
okay.
doing
Yeah,
it. No,
okay.
I don't think that would actually net anything.
No, it wouldn't. It would just be like, yeah, what's going on?
the 8th?
Because there's so many
It's a Monday, you know.
there's
they'd be
so many
like,
different worlds that it could be from. So, yeah, that should be good. That should be exciting. Trying to think if I had anything else. I feel like I did something else.
Perhaps it was a convention.
It was a convention, but I thought there was something else before we got to it. But if not, if there was,
Final
not important.
Fantasy.
Well, Final Fantasy, yeah.
You're playing-
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're playing.
I'm
I mean,
replaying
if we're
Final
talking about
Fantasy
playing.
10 because of a new Magic set coming out, and it just got me hyped for Final Fantasy again. So I started playing it.
Did you see the arts I sent you?
Yeah, the like full art. Oh man, I'm so excited for that.
Those look good.
They look so
Those
good.
look really good.
It's funny because I think every time I go back to play an old game like Kingdom Hearts 2, now Final Fantasy 10, what I've run into and I go, wow, a lot of the games I played as a kid had way more cutscenes than I remember. There's just like constant cutscenes in both Kingdom Hearts 2 and Final Fantasy 10.
Well, yeah, it was the second that you got the advent of the internet added to your gaming, you never looked back.
Yeah.
Because now you're like, I don't want to play a fucking movie. I want to play and you're just competitive all the time and doing like that's the stuff you like to play now. So
Well, I still feel like
it's
even-
just like, oh, the internet is what you take the internet away from a game and it has to have something else for me.
Well, I just feel like even in like Alan Wake or Hellblade, it would be like, here's a cutscene, then you play for 30, 40 minutes. And then here's a cutscene, and then you play, and then there's a cutscene.
That's fair. Those aren't the size of Final Fantasy or even pretending to be.
I guess.
But also, you probably could put, like, if you were to type in the Alan Wake movie, you know, whatever they call
Yeah.
those cutscenes, it's got to be like 10 hours.
Yeah, maybe.
Which, I mean, I see and I go, that's a lot of fucking cutscenes.
It is.
I think of Alan Wake as a cutscene game.
Oh, wow, okay.
Like, I think of it as, I'll say as much as The Last of
Maybe
Us is
it's
a
because
cutscene
it's
game,
like-
which I don't know if you're saying that's more or less, but
The rapid and the speed, because like for me, Final Fantasy is like, here's a cutscene, cool. I'm like, sweet. And then I run out of a door, and when I run out of the door, here's another cutscene, cool. Then I run down the way, fight one fight, run another way, boom, here's another cutscene. It's like every dialogue scene is like a straight cutscene. It's not, quick dialogue or anything like that. So maybe that's what it is. Just different times in gaming. But it's still good.
well, and
Still
all
like
the
it.
different production times and stuff is like we're picking relationship things and having
Yeah.
whatever that just wasn't as much an option. Like if Avowed, all the moments I had became cutscenes. All the ones where they lock my camera and I have to just start picking dialogue. If
Yeah.
those were cutscenes, it'd be just as long. you
True.
know?
The other thing too is like I when I originally played Final Fantasy X when I was a kid, I got stuck in areas because I felt I was like way underpowered and stuff. Now getting back into it, I realized, oh, there's no way I could have understood the sphere grid, which is the upgrade system in that game when I was a kid. I'm here now trying to figure it out, and it's like, okay, I can move 1 because I have 1 AP, and then once I get to that sphere point, I can use a sphere to put and access that ability, whether it's like a +1 at strength or in a full ability or more 200 health or whatever. But it'll be like there's 3 that I have active, and I'm in the middle, and it'll be like you can move 1, and I can move 2 this way, but only 1 this way, and I don't know why it's. I feel like more complicated than it needed to be, and I'm sure seeing all the different skill trees and skill webs and stuff that have just gotten more expansive and crazy, it's just because I'm not a skill-based person that I just don't get it. But I was like, oh, this is really why I struggled as a kid, because I would look at this. I look at this now and go, this is a lot. As a kid, I'd be like, oh, sure, and then just never go back to it. I probably had, if I could go back to my old save, I probably had like 600 of each sphere. I moved maybe 3 times the entire grid and just was like, I'll level up. It counts if I just keep killing things right. Doesn't. I don't get stronger.
Doesn't.
So,
and you did beat it, huh?
No, I never beat it.
There you go. That's probably why.
Got pretty close to the end, but I just never finished it off. But yeah, because by the time because I got close to it, X2 came out, and I was like, well, I got to get on that because it's new. And when I was a kid, it wasn't beat this game, so I could start the sequel. Weird.
Like time to be a pop star.
Dang straight. So anyway, Final Fantasy X. That's the other game I've been playing. Let's get into the con. Now let's dive in.
44 minutes in, we're right on time.
Look at that, right on
time.
time.
40 minutes, like you said.
There we go. So now we're talking about, so if you don't know, we were at Magiccon Chicago over the last weekend. Essentially left early Friday morning, got back late-ish Sunday night.
Damn near Thursday night. Is how
yeah, it's damn near, yeah. Pretty much we left Thursday night, got home Sunday night, and was just in Chicago. Essentially at the con, I would say 99% of the waking hours, 90%.
I was going to say, of my waking time, sleeping is the only thing.
Sleeping was the only thing we had to
even then, we caught a couple people sleeping at the con.
We did. Dude, mad respect, though, to take a chair and just like...
To take a chair and fucking sleep straight down.
It was
that guy,
great. Yeah. He was doing the con right. He's like, I'm going to show up early. Not get in line for some reason.
Yeah, his is sleeping outside of security, right next to security.
Yeah.
It's like every single person at this convention has to see you sleep as you walk past. Crazy.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah, sure.
So it was my first Magiccon. My first Magiccon.
Probably the biggest con you've been to.
I don't know.
Pokemon has probably about the same amount of people.
Yeah, I think so for me, it probably is the biggest. The thing is the lobby areas, because there's the upstairs lobby and the downstairs lobby. There wasn't really anything in those lobbies going on. So
it's really interesting having been to now multiple conventions at multiple halls.
Yeah.
Right? It's like Vegas, I've been to 2 different halls, and then Chicago twice now, where they didn't have access to the second hall the first time.
Yeah.
So it was like I've seen it 4 different ways now, and how they choose to use the space is always so interesting. But for the first time ever, this is the time that game nights live, the cosplay contest, panels, whatever, aren't going on in the same room as everything else.
Yeah, it was
like where the store was, the merch store, the like official store. That's where they built a whole stage, like a fucking rock stage.
Got it.
And then they just had a bunch of chairs set up, and you would be sitting in line for an artist just watching a panel.
Oh.
And they had
nice.
Huge mics and big, and it was like, I loved it. I mean,
that was actually nicer.
It's like I'm already in the middle of a sensory overload.
Yeah.
Might as well make it so I can like focus on something rather than my knees aching.
Yeah.
But it was nice because it was like I always saw game nights live.
Oh.
It was always there. I didn't watch. I didn't sit and watch.
Right.
But I was always there. I always saw the fucking dice go around and the people on stage and whatever. And then I would be turning and be like, oh, I need to take a break real quick, or Shay's going to go to the bathroom. Let me just stand here and watch Mark Rosewater talk about his top 10 favorite set mechanics.
Gotcha.
Like, okay, that's great. And then
those
one
were all
time
really
it was
separated this time.
Last con, like I told you, there was a lot of like let's rest kind of feelings going on. So it was like, let's just go sit and watch whatever they got going on. We went up and it was Family Feud, and CGB and Ash were on the stage doing Family Feud together.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. Like I just kind of stumbled into them doing a show and what now would have been in like a whole auditorium.
Yeah.
But so I kind of missed that. But it's the kind of thing where, because the stage took up so much of that spot, more of that stuff was poured out into the front lobby space. But also that front lobby space, we didn't spend a whole lot of time in there. That was the whole Pro Tour. So if you wanted to stand out there and watch Ailey and Cedric Phillips comment over people playing and then watch the world champion become the world champion right there, you could have.
It was.
This
one
was
TV.
This one wasn't the world champion,
Right?
Because it's not Vegas. They do that in Vegas, but all the same, you could have watched that.
I didn't see because I think the second day when I walked in, because I think I was walking in alone at that time because you had forgotten your badge and stuff like that.
I know.
So I walked in, I was like, oh, maybe I do want to come watch this. And I looked, I saw all the tables, and I was like, well, I can't see anybody playing cards here because there's a barrier and the tables are so far away, I can't watch them play. Then there's the stage, but there were no screens to show you what was happening on stage.
I think it's because, again, changing it for this con, I think it's because they had the room where the other two shows did their live thing. It's like a small room to the side. They had a Pro Tour watch party going on in there. Oh. Every moment that it wasn't one of those live things, it was a Pro Tour watch party.
Gotcha. Because the big con that I went to was the Pokemon NAIC, where if you picked a chair in the middle, you had screens for every game. You could watch every game live on stage.
It is
all
different
at the same
because
time.
that game has, or that conference had the multiple games. You might have even been there when they had the Pokken tournament, right? Maybe it was just after.
Pokken. No, I think it was
Pokemon.
Either it was the last Pokken or I think it was actually the first
Post Pokken.
yeah, the MOBA, Unite. I think it was the first Unite.
Well, so they've got Unite, the video game, and the trading card game, and
Go.
Pokemon Go.
Those were the four
games.
stages.
For Magic, obviously, they just have the one. Depending on the season or the con you go, sometimes it's via arena. They're sitting on computers across from each other. Sometimes it's pro play standard. Sometimes you're watching limited. Other times it's the world championship. So a little different. But
you think they could do it?
It's like the way they had to pour stuff out. That's why it's like this con. I'll never know where anything is. Ever, because it's always changing.
I think it's pretty interesting that at this event they don't have here's the commander stage, here's the standard stage, here's the limited, here's the arena. Each stage just has their game type, and it's you focus on the game type.
Well, it's because there's only one professional way to play Magic,
which is standard. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and limited and stuff, but you have to do all of them while you're there.
Gotcha.
One day you're playing limited. Then the next day, if you won limited, you play standard. And then the next day, if you play that one, you play.
So it's
so they switch formats. It's not always the same. Last time I was in Chicago, if I remember, I think they were playing Pioneer. Someone won with Pioneer Vampires.
You have to be a God, what am I trying to think of?
Like a triathlete?
Yeah, like a triathlete to get there. It's crazy.
It is. That's Flesh and Blood was the same way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you had to do limited into constructed play.
Wow, that's so weird.
They're like, we want the world champion to be the arguably best across both categories.
Interesting. It's kind of cool, but that is interesting. You'd think you'd get more people involved if you split them up, because then people could be like, well, I'm really good at this, but I'm not so good at this, so I'm going to involve myself.
Oh, they've got enough people involved.
Yeah, sure.
And depending, when we host an event, when we're thinking of what's the road to the Pro Tour, I don't know how we got to this, but the road to the Pro Tour, starts at the RCQ level, or the regional championship qualifier, which is what we're doing, or what we used to do.
Yep.
And they would tell us, hey, the championship you're going to send them to is Championship Dallas. That was the last one we did. The championship was in Dallas for North America, and they told us that event is a Pioneer event. So we go, okay, well, we can host the limited.
Yeah.
Or we can host Pioneer to better prep for the person going forward. But if they win the regional championship, the national championship might be standard.
Got it.
It might be Pioneer. It might be, So they choose further down the line. We can choose at the basic.
So at that event, it wasn't like Saturday or Friday they played limited, Saturday they did Pioneer, and then Sunday they ended with standard. It was that event was standard.
I didn't pay attention to this event. I really don't know, but it could have been.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was hard to pay attention. Like I said, because it was out in the lobby.
That event isn't the regional championship. That event is one post the regional championship, which is where you get to multiple, from what I know. But I mean, because I care so little about the competitive aspect of this game, I just don't pay attention.
Yeah.
I know names. I think the commentators are cool. We like, I don't know if you ever watched her, but I like Ailey. Cedric Phillips, love his charisma. Ash was like second place to kind of becoming a commentator for the sport, and is obviously uber competitive focused. And she might be trying to make a pro run this next year. That's I think her goal.
That would be cool.
Is to do a pro run. She did it before and she made it. into the
sick.
tournament. I don't remember where she placed, but she's like trying to do that again, I think.
I'd like to be a cool cheerleader for her.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Be like
fuck yeah, I
100%.
know her. Like we're going to have the best celebration parties when you know.
Oh, yeah.
But
That'd be sick.
to know someone in the Pro Tour would be dope.
I
mean, obviously CGB was there before Nerd Girl.
It's like
She was a Pro Tour competitor and like finalist in Barcelona before things were truly international, like before they had cons. So very unique.
It's also interesting, like I said, they were in the lobbies, and so for NAIC, anytime I wanted to go to the stage floor, the play floor, where like really like there were booths, there were play floors, like everything was in there. You had to go through the metal detector every time. But then when I'm like, I want to hit Pokemon Center shop, I'd leave that area, go into the shop, then come back, go back through the metal detector. This was, you went through a metal detector on a bridge, and then essentially it was all free floating.
It's open.
But I just didn't realize that. But like day 1 and 2, I was like, I don't want to go back out there because I might have to get checked back in. I was like, I'm already in. I just want to stay in. But
it's like you could just keep walking. You don't even notice the metal detectors. You have to slow down if it's congested, and you have to go single file, so pace yourself a bit. But I've never once been stopped.
Yeah, I wonder what you could have.
They do have things there to like look through and whatever. I don't know what they're. And they've got people with tablets at the end that are like looking at the tablet, watching people go through. They've got a guy on the right with a computer. I don't know what they're finding. They stop some people, so something's getting
Something's
found.
happening, but
and then out after that they have a drug dog too.
Oh yeah,
So they got something, but
interesting. Yeah,
probably a drug dog, bomb dog.
yeah, makes sense. But the con was cool.
Break it down for me, dude.
So, it being my first con.
I would say this is my umpteenth, right? So I'm like, yeah, whatever you say.
First con, I think the big things that hit me first was when we first walked in, crazy easy to go up, get the badge, get your things, and we were done. The premium weekend was a long line.
Yeah, because we did poor person.
We did
one
poor
on
person
purpose
weekend.
because the premium one, it comes with a deck box and sleeves and a playmat and collector boosters, and I'm like, well, we're sponsored for half that, so I can't use these sleeves or deck box. And we have 75 of them because CGB gets one every time.
Yeah.
I have 75 of them that I just took home, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to give these away to Cody if he wants a deck. I'm going to give these to Colin. I'm going to give them to anyone
There was
who
no
needs
reason
something.
to get them.
When Nate visited and we were going down for Gundams, he was talking about we were going down for the card game.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I don't have any sleeves. I was like, here, just take these ones. He's like, oh, I don't want to put you out. I was like, talk.
We have so many.
You're helping me. Please accept this burden.
So that was cool, really fast. But then I turn around and go, oh shoot, that's the actual line to get in. And but I was waiting for Derek. Turn around, wait for Derek. Turn back. Line gone. I was like, wow, everyone's in the con.
Yeah, they. I don't know how to argue, say what it is, but there's like sections A through G, and they fill up A, then they fill up B, and then they fill up C, and they might be filling up F, but then 10 o'clock rolls around, they let A in, and once A is empty, they'll let B in, and they keep going like that, and they might have already filled up G, and we're now releasing F in, so we're going to fill up A again.
Yeah.
And then we're going to release A, and then eventually we're not. We don't. None of them get filled up, so we just keep
Release
them
it
open,
open.
and then the front is open. That's where it's like now you can walk through the front. You don't have to do the whole rigmarole.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, you're also in this herd of cattle,
Yeah.
waiting to be led into the con, and you're in D,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, I'm gonna watch hordes of people go in front of me, but also you're looking out on the con floor, and there's just 1,000 people on the con floor. Because they bought the Black Lotus pass for $900 and they get in an hour early and stuff. And I'm like, I can't imagine having that pass and being like, Dan Fraser, nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Oh, Elena, just dude, the checklist
Crazy.
would be insane. But it's like, how much am I paying per signature at that point?
Paying
You know
per
what I mean?
signature on top of the already amount of money you paid for the
Well,
ticket.
what I'm saying is, if that's 4 signatures, break that ticket down across all the signatures.
Oh,
now
I see.
what
Yeah,
am I really
What
paying?
are you really paying?
And that's
I
like,
hear you. I
woo!
hear you. So yeah,
numbers.
Once we got into the con, I was very both surprised and very happy that the artist area was carpeted, and it was like nice carpet to stand on. In comparison to as soon as you got to the selling of the cards, and it was just straight concrete. Like,
Yeah.
it was like, I was like, oh, this carpet's actually nice to stand on. This isn't just like the carpet here actually is terrible to stand on. It's more like, it was
it's good
more
for
like
rolling chairs
It was like
around.
that thick carpet.
Yeah,
that's
it's
over
got
there.
carpet like with padding, with shag to it.
So that
with
was
something,
nice
yeah.
because we waited in some artist lines that were pretty long. I think the merch line for you was the longest at
2.5
hours.
yeah.
That was the longest one.
Well, that's funny. You're on the third day and you see there's just no line. And I'm like, do they have any sizes left? Like, what is it worth? Should I be going in on Friday and Saturday mornings? Like, should I just go, if you don't have it, it wasn't meant to be? Is that what I should just be doing on Sundays now?
I think mentally it is nice to just have that done. Like, you don't even have to look at that thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was 2 hours of your first day, but we left Sunday with still like 3 or 4 hours we could have been there. It's not like we were like running out of time ever. It was just like, it's just kind of almost nice to have that check mark. I think I actually have it. I brought it today. Look at that. Da 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 da. I have my
on the top.
Oh yeah, the bill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got my Magiccon Chicago hat. I think that might just be my thing. Is I might try to get, if they have hats every time, just get a hat for each con.
Does that one say Chicago, but it doesn't have dates?
Yeah, it just says Chicago.
Oh, okay. I would say they have that hat every time, but you'll just have one that says Magiccon Las Vegas, Magiccon Atlanta. That's it.
Maybe I should put the date like right here. Write it.
Hey, good.
Anyway.
They might do a new hat. Well, maybe then you do the Wizard of Barge, you do the rat hat.
Yeah, maybe I just do a hat per con. I like having the name of it. I do wish it kind of like my NAIC sweatshirt that says NAIC 2023. Like I would get a sweatshirt like that every time.
The Magiccon logo is also, because they change like the Ferris wheel and the stuff to the different cities, but it's the exact same.
So like last year you could have bought this hat.
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
Well, and in Vegas, I could have bought that hat with small differences. Obviously, the words Las Vegas, but then also instead of the wheel, like I said, or whatever's on there, the Navy Pier is what it looks like.
Even if it's the same, because I'm thinking it'd be kind of cool if I had, I might have Alec 3D print me little things that like snap, because I've seen things that where you put the hat like, my hair's all crazy now, like this, and it snaps and holds onto this button, and it hangs on the wall like that. Oh. I thought it'd be cool if I get those 3D printed and just have like a line of them and be like, these are all the cons, even if it's like Chicago and that hat's the exact same, but there's just like a...
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because they're probably, even though I'm now more into it, getting into playing more Magic, building decks like we did yesterday, playing stuff like that, I still don't know if I'll be having search cards at cons like that to spend money on. It'll be...
Yeah, well, we have an Uber collection here.
Yep.
We have Cool Stuff Inc. sponsors the show, so we use them for purchasing cards and stuff. I do it because I'm not looking for a Swords to Plowshares. I'm looking for the Swords to Plowshares. I'm looking for the Brainstorm.
Yeah,
it's like I have such a tight preference. And sometimes, sometimes there's unique cards that are like they're $500. I'll say $500. I've never bought a card that much really for myself, but $500, you can't get them from the sponsor. So you save up and you go and you get one from the con with sponsorship stuff.
Right.
Because you can do it in person a little differently and whatever.
But even with that, I'm still not spending the money. You know, it's still just stuff that I have.
Yeah, but I got the Wheel of Fortune that I've got because that's been a unique. I love that card and I've always wanted it. So I got it at the first Magiccon and God, was that 22, I think? And then I missed 23 and I did 24. Yeah.
Okay.
So Vegas 22 was the first 30-year con. So that's where I got my Wheel of Fortune. But I don't know if you'll ever run into a card that you're really desperate. And if you are missing a card like that, it's not because Cool Stuff doesn't have it, but the con won't either. It's it's $1, the card that you were looking for. That was like Bloodforged Battle Axe.
The weird thing, so actually I got to figure out, because I was on Cool Stuff. I made my list of cards I want because I'm trying to collect all of James Bozema's cards. And I think I looked through my binder yesterday because I thought I have the Meat Hook Massacre, the one shirt I bought too. I have that card in non-foil, but I thought I saw it at the con in foil. Mm-hmm. But on Cool Stuff, it has the Meat Hook Massacre unavailable, but it doesn't have like a foil option.
If a card's unavailable, it doesn't show you a foil option.
Right, but when I bought it originally and it was in stock, like, you know, I had the one, it didn't go underneath and say foil unavailable, like if it didn't exist.
Have that. They don't have that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I would love to pull it up and show you right now, but yeah. So another terrible thing about it is if the foil is in stock and not a near mint foil, before you click into the card, it'll tell you it's not available.
Oh shit! All right, I need to get better at shopping this site.
Well, I would say it's very specific to this site. So what I have a wish list set up where I go through and find individual singles. Some of them that say mana foil. That includes foil in the title. It's a special type of foil. It truly is out of stock. Gotcha. But here's a good example. So I don't even know if it is in stock, but this is a Johnny here. It says it's out of stock. If I click into it and scroll down, like this one right here, it could have been in foil. And it would have looked exactly the same on that last screen where it says out of stock. So what I do, depending on the card, of course, is I will go through this Ancient Tomb. Might be in stock in foil.
Gotcha.
So then I'll scroll through, and it's not currently. But
How do you know that one was foil? Did it say foil somewhere on there? I missed it.
So if a card, this is so weird for
so
audio
dumb.
people.
Yeah, sorry.
But here's a good example.
Yeah.
This card here, it says search foil next to it.
Right.
I have selected the search foil 1-2 favorite. This wouldn't say out of stock if it were in stock.
Okay. So then
But
actually,
a card like Blossoming Tortoise, this card exists in non-foil and foil, and I just know that. And because I know that, I could click this if it said out of stock, and it would, if it had a foil, it would still say out of stock.
got it. Okay.
So that's the other thing, because you put on like on the wish list stuff.
Yeah.
Like when you wish list a card and you say send me an email, if it gets a foil, won't get an email because it's not technically in stock.
I'm messaging Rob right now. I actually need that Blood Forward battle axe he sent me too.
The big one,
Not the big one. This one.
the little one,
because it's foil.
non-surge, but foil.
I didn't realize it had that because it only had, like I said, I'm reading this site all wrong.
Damn, girl, you so bad at this.
I'm so bad at this.
You're so bad at this. I'll show you how to use Scryfall so you can do it better.
Well, my thing was like I use Scryfall for all the images on like the show and stuff, but for me, it's like I want to know like
No,
what's
you can set a
purchasable.
preference that it'll say, show me the card in every variation, and it'll just show you the
Gotcha.
list of the same card. And then you can sort by artist. So you can say, show me every artist in every variation. It'll pull up the whole list.
Border of
Send it to Rob.
the
Let him know.
X.
Let him know it's coming. He
Please.
needs it. Here's another one I wanted to show you just real quick.
Yep.
This one, unlike the ones that say mana foil and whatever, doesn't say foil in the line, but I know this one is actually out of stock because this is a promo. This promo was only ever printed in foil.
Got it.
So a lot of cool stuff is you just got to know what your wish list is.
just gotta know.
You got to
Okay.
know that this card here that you're looking for does not exist in non-foil. Like, look at this image. It's in foil.
Yeah.
You know,
So-
you just
okay.
have to know that that's what you're looking for.
I'll be shopping after this podcast in a second just to double check and make sure I've got all my I's dotted, T's
Yeah.
crossed.
You see, I'm just going to peek this damage. So here's one. They say it's $24.99. It's in stock.
In stock.
No, it doesn't say it. But if it was in foil,
See, that's what this is right here. I thought it would say, you see, it says near mint in stock, near mint foil in stock.
Yeah.
I thought it would say, this is in stock, this is out of stock.
yeah. So this one has a foil,
But it
just
doesn't
say it.
Man, that's irritating.
That's irritating. Try to find the
try to
right
be the
word.
nicest way possible with our sponsor.
I mean, for me, it's like if you built it one way and you started off one way, how do you undo it or change
Yeah,
it and
totally.
stuff? That's where I go. They're using their own database that does not pull from Scryfall, does not pull from what I can tell. So because of that, I've given them a lot of grace.
That's fair.
And also, I'm like, I get so many cards.
I'm also
from you
coming
guys that
at it from
really,
yeah, totally.
it really doesn't matter to me. So there's a good example. Frogmite, I found one. Frogmite, $4.99, 8 in stock. I can hit add from here. But if I go into Frogmite, there it is in foil for actually same price. Funny
All
enough.
right.
But
I will be shopping
that's
after
why
this.
when I have a code and I'm like, there's not a certain deck I'm looking for. I'm not on the hunt for this one thing or whatever. I go, okay, let me just go through the wish list. I go to the wish list and I just click every card. Not there, back. Not there, back. Not there.
Got
there
it.
is one, add. And I'll add them all to a cart and then I'll pick and choose.
I also realized when you add a card from your wish list and you buy it and it comes to you,
It stays on
it's
your
still
wish
on your
list.
wish list. Because
Yeah.
I've bought 2 of the same Trafalgar Law cards because I just like, oh, it's available again. And I was
Yeah,
like,
when you get your
I'm like,
cards,
oh,
you
shit.
got to go to your wish list and say, all right, subtract.
I started doing where add to cart, delete wish list, add to cart, remove.
Don't do that.
Because it might not send.
Yes.
I know.
Because, and then if you haven't received one before where you're like, I for sure ordered one of these cards, and you go back to the order, it's a little note on the bottom that says, we were unable to find this card and refunded X dollars to your gift code ending in blah, blah, blah. But they don't tell you, it's not an email you get, it's not whatever. You have to see it in the notes in the orders page, searching through your orders.
I'm going to have to double check all my orders now.
Because that's where I was like, oh, I've got like $30 in codes that I just thought were gone.
Luckily,
that,
I've also been
it's
saving
crazy.
I have a notes app
Google-
that's like
yeah.
all the codes and the use and the.
Good, because I do the
Thank
same
goodness.
thing.
All right.
When I fully use a code and it gets sent and I get it, I just delete it.
All right. Now that we've gone through all that, that was probably the most boring anything that anyone's ever listened to for a podcast.
Not for me, dude. I could go on for days, dude. I know as much about the systems as the guys who created it at this point.
the artist section con floor was probably a section I spent not the most time in, but a lot of the time in, because I just like looking at the art and the artists and seeing them do the signatures
They bring
is really
their custom
cool.
tokens. Some of them have cool prints. Some of them, they're like, I'm selling the original artwork for $1,500.
And as much as I'm sure the people behind the counter that's selling me a card at one of the booths enjoys selling me a card, I think the artists are probably there and enjoy the idea of people enjoying their art a little bit more. They got a little bit more invested in what's happening than the guy that's working for a paycheck over there.
Yeah.
So-
Well, the guy that's working for a paycheck over there is also dealing with 20 people at one single time.
Yeah.
For hours and hours and hours on end.
They're burned out. Yeah.
Dan Frazier, he's talking to one person at a time, real
For as
slow,
long as he
signing
wants.
real slow. Pass.
I
next.
don't think I've ever realized, because I've been to like book signings and other things where things are being signed by people, and I feel like it's usually like an oiled machine where they're like getting in, say a few words, cool, and they're out. These artists were like, you're up here, we're gonna hang out as long as I feel completely comfortable hanging out with you, and we'll just see how long this line takes.
Dan Frazier and Douglas Schuler were back to back. Sarah Angel, Demonic Tutor, one. All the talismans, signets, moxes, all that shit the other. And they had one booth with one, like, we'll say handler, because that's how cosplayers call them at least, with a handler in the middle who was taking payments, whatever, but he was doing it for both sides. And he made a comment about somebody's team or whatever and how he picked a team outside of his whatever. We went on about the Eagles. We started making football jokes at this guy. We were like fucking... And the artist, Doug Schuler, goes, now, I'll say Greg, I don't remember his real name, but now, Greg, is that a business conversation or a personal conversation? He goes, oh, dude, we're talking business. We're talking. So you can tell that this center guy, he had clearly told them, you need to have less personal conversations and only business so we can get this moving. You could tell that's what he was like trying to tell these guys. And then I get up to Dan Frazier, what do you do for work? What do you do, whatever? I tell him about CGB. Did I tell you what he did? I show you?
Oh,
He did the... And I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
That's so weird.
It's so weird. And CGB's like, well, now I got to go meet Dan Frazier.
We got to see if CGB actually talked to him.
Yeah,
We'll see.
I'll call the hospital.
Yeah. The other thing...
And then Elena Danner, we talked about horror podcasts and truths, and we were trading podcast ideas and whatever. She's signing my stuff.
It's just so, and maybe because this is a con, and most of the signing stuff that I've been to is like, I'm going to an author at a bookstore. So it's like business is happening around whatever this author's doing. So like when I went and met Chuck Palahniuk, it was, hey, what are you getting signed? Oh, I want this. Cool. So the handler took it, flipped to the right page, put like a thing on it to hold it open to the page, and went, cool, put it on the desk. Then once I got up there, they put it in front of him. He put it, signed it, did the thing, took a picture, cool, and moved on to the next. It was like a machine.
Yeah.
It was, but this was like, all right, what do you want signed? And someone comes up with a handful of cards still in sleeves, like unsleeving, putting it on. Well, I want this signature on this. I want this signature on this signature on this. And they're trying to organize. And then every time it was, cool, where are my colors? The artist would be like, where are my colors?
Dude, it was so funny. So Doug had his in like a box facing him. He's like, breathing at him. And he picked one out. But I get to Elena, and there's fucking rainbows all around her that I'm like, I love seeing like the artist's process.
I liked on Elena's, because everyone had like the test scratch paper to make sure the marker was working before they touched the card. She did it on like the cover of a notebook, and like she probably still just uses that notebook as like a sketch pad. And I was like, that's really cool. It's almost like a speckled con notebook that you'll just keep carrying around.
And she was the only one, period, that did a thing where it's like you come in line and you get a postcard that gives you a time.
So smart.
And then if you don't have a postcard, you don't get a signature. So Matt, her handler, her husband from the Tickles and Rings I saw.
Okay.
He was like, hey, if you don't have a postcard, you're not getting anything signed. We are booked for the day. We're done. But then when I got up there, I was like, hey, I'm at 11 o'clock. She goes, oh, I'll sign that for you. And just grabs it and signs it. And she goes, that's also how we show you that this has been used.
Oh.
So you can't bring it to the next day.
So smart.
But then she just gives it right back to you. She's like, you get to keep it, and it's signed.
And it's free signed.
And it's free. I didn't have to pay for that signature.
That's so smart.
Dude, it was like
so dope.
But then we just talked about our favorite cryptids. We're both from the Midwest. We both love all this shit. What's your favorite true crime? My wife loves this. I don't know how long I talked to her about whatever, you know. So it's like, also, you're just dope. Like, I'm into you. You're great. And then she does Jeweled Lotus, and she does like all these super popular famous cards.
I didn't bring it up there, but I feel like if Shay were to have a signing booth where she's personally signing stuff, you would run it like Matt. You'd be like, "This is how it's done. We're gonna get through it." Like you would take all the stress off Shay, and you would just be like, "This is how it's done."
Be like, you keep signing, dude.
Yeah,
you
don't
talk
worry.
to someone when they're here,
and then you cover the 4 people in line behind that person, so she could have the one-on-one. You carry 4 people, and then make sure all the lines. I was like, Stokes would run this house.
That'd be great.
Tight.
That'd be great. And also, if it were that same operation, dude, we'd be making so much fucking money, dude. It would be so easy. I mean, you're watching people sign 10 cards at a time, and you look, and they're like, "Oh, I want all shadow," and you're like, "That's $100." And I watched him finish it in 2.5 minutes. The hourly on this is crazy.
Now,
I would take time off to eat a snack, and maybe even then I'd be eating snacks. I'm like, Shay, you're signing, dude. I'm gonna feed you.
Yeah. She's like,
Yeah, it would have to be.
she got one of those bucket hats with those straws.
Slurping. She'd have to. I'd be like, more caffeine. We got you. How's your wrist doing?
It's so crazy. It's funny too, also because artists. Or it's different, but like I don't think anyone that was like a YouTuber or content creator there was charging for signatures. Like
no.
When CGB had his line and people would sign and stuff,
Jimmy, them,
it was
they didn't.
It's very different mindset. It's weird the difference in mindset.
I'm happy.
I think it's because I like
it's locked down on booth, it's locked on time, no Venmo, no anything required. I think the one that's a little bit different, and I've only ever seen Wizard of Barge do it, is he comes with a lot of shit, like a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But his stuff is T-shirts,
Hats.
shorts, hats. It's like
he had
you're an apparel salesman hidden in the artist alley.
He had almost or really close to as much merch selling as the entire Magiccon outside of cards.
Yeah.
Like Magiccon almost wasn't selling as much merch as he was.
Yeah, by variation at least. Yeah.
And I bought this hat instead of the rat hat, but I still really like that rat hat.
No,
I hope it's gonna.
It's all cool.
Hope it's gonna be a
he has an
different one.
online store.
I should just order
and it's huge. There is so much shit there.
That's great.
Yeah. He's great. And we might have him on the show.
That'd be so cool.
I pitched him on it a few times.
Fingers crossed.
Yep. And he's like, "Oh, I've played with CGB before."
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's like, they played after the con in Barcelona. So I showed, CGB was curious, "Oh, what'd you get signed? How'd you get it signed? Whatever." And my first page was all the Barge goblins. And he's like, "Oh, I played with this guy." And I was like, "I know." He told me the same thing.
Sweet.
And I was like, "We'd love to have him out. We'd love to figure it. Let's fly. Let's whatever." So he gave me a thing to email and message. He's like, "Here's how you message me because I'd love to do it." And yeah.
As a reminder, again, off podcast stuff, we need to set up a new email thing. I meant to say that yesterday, but we just...
You did?
Yeah.
I wanted to run it past CGB first to see if he wanted to change names or something, but...
To have a more cohesive. I think no matter what, we should be closely related.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So Artist Alley was
that
cool.
was mostly Artist Alley, right?
Yep. And then inside Artist Alley, still artists doing tattoos, which some people said that was the first time they were doing that.
It is.
That's really cool.
First time they've done that.
It's cool. It's weird to see people, because there was a girl that was getting her outside of her left thigh tattooed. Day one.
Yeah.
And she was laying on that mat. It had to be like 3 or 4 hours. I saw her just laying on that mat.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got to go walk the next 2 days. Is your hips going to be okay?
Should be fine.
That looked rough. It was a long time
Well,
she was
I don't
there.
know if you were peeking badges while we were there. There's a lot of people there that are just there for a day.
Oh,
I was in line with a guy for hours, and I was like, dude, almost your entire Saturday's gone to waiting on Elena here.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm like, 2 hours of your Saturday, that's so much.
That's a chunk of time.
It takes a long time for me to find one Swords to Plowshares. Like, if you have a card you're looking for, good luck.
Right? Yeah, it took us like a day and a half to find that Swords.
Yeah.
I think also we left early because we did quote unquote run out of things to do at the con. But
Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. But I also felt like every day went way faster than I thought it was going to go.
Well, think about it this way. This is the way I mean, because I said we left Sunday early. We ran out of stuff to do. We didn't play a single game of Magic.
No, yeah. We could have hung out for another 3 hours playing games.
We didn't do a ticketed event.
Nope.
We didn't do a meet and greet. From either side.
Yeah. I really wish we had done Rachel Weeks.
We didn't do D&D. We did. I know. I didn't know it was happening.
Once I saw it, I told you about it, and then when I went over, it was already.
I was with
off.
you. Yeah, it was already locked
sucked.
up. But like when you think of all the things we didn't do, mostly because it wasn't my priority to. I got everything I wanted to out of the con. I found the pre-con one of the precons I wanted at the right price at least. I got all the singles I wanted. I got most of the signatures I wanted. Like, I really spent my time well. I got all the merch that I wanted. But it was that it's there. If it went into Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, I could have filled those days.
Oh yeah.
It's just the way I hierarchy my stuff. But at the end, it's like, I could just sit here and play Magic, but to me, that's not valuable time. Maybe if I'd done it early, I would have been shopping singles all the way till the last minute or something.
Yeah.
But who wants that? So,
Or if the food there was a little bit more varied, instead of leaving to get food to drive home, or if we drove home Monday instead of Sunday, we would have grabbed food and then came back to play a couple games to wrap up the con. To that, there might have been done
we would have
differently.
been hungry for 2 hours. I would have gone hungry because it ends early on Sundays. But all the same, it's not that we ran out of stuff to do. It's like we ran out of high priority stuff, and everything that fell under, we're just like, it's not worth staying. We're good.
Yeah.
I'll see this con again.
There'll be another one. Yeah.
I'll see this con in June, which they've already got the dates and everything posted and stuff. So we got to bring that up, another outside meeting. Talk about who we're talking with and when we're doing it.
So somehow going on a vacation trip to a con just gave us so much more work. On the whole car ride home, we're just like, here's a list of things that we need to do now. It is all fun stuff.
And part of that list of things, I got to put my decks back together. I put back Bumbleflower, and I'm shuffling through them like, God, there's so many rainbows and chromes and shit. And I'm like, ooh. Zuladoc looking good.
So we had the Artist Alley. That was cool. And then you went the other way, and you had essentially most of the floor was just people selling cards. There were a couple people that were
just sales generally, because Dragon Shield had a booth, Ultimate Guard had a booth, Ultra Pro had a booth. Some artists that were selling just playmats, rugs, shirts, tokens, but they weren't an individual artist. It was like a team.
Yeah.
So you had those kind of up front, and then you just got into these are game stores.
These are
just
game
large
stores. This is
game
Canada's
stores
game store. This is this game store. This is this one.
Yeah, and they had big ones. It was Cool Stuff and Star City were there.
Yep.
Good Games was there, and then Pastimes was another one.
Yep.
TOA was there. It was like these are all just big game companies, and then there's
Laughing Dragon. I saw
there's some international ones. Propaganda, they might be local. They were new. I hadn't seen them before. But Hot Sauce Games,
gotta like Propaganda. We got your swords there.
Got the swords there. But Hot Sauce Games is always an international one that comes. They don't have signs anywhere, but I know them when I see them because they're the only ones with a wall of secret layers. The Italians is how I just refer to them now.
Gotcha.
Because it's just run by Italians and they have every secret layer.
Is that the one with the cool crazy tokens?
The crazy tokens.
Which like it had like the One Piece tokens but they were Magic tokens.
And
they were.
They were on the opposite side of that. Yeah, which they didn't have those before. I didn't bring them.
They're very cool.
Something, but they had the $4 secret layer card I was looking for. I was like, I'll never find this, but I'll check because I know who to check. I'll check with the Italians, and there was a stack of them. I was like, God, I love these guys. First time in Chicago, I actually spent $500 cash at that spot because I was like, secret layer. I just like I missed the Ash vs. the Evil Dead one. I missed this one. Let me get this one. How about that over there? And they had all of it.
That's great.
Yeah, it was really sweet.
So that was a cool area. It was fun to walk through. All the cards that I was really looking for were too cheap. They're not going to be there, but it was fun to go, hey, I need this, and I go, all right, I'm on it. And
then show me a picture like a bloodhound. I'd be like, sniff it, and I'll go.
It's like a scavenger hunt.
It is.
It's so cool. It's so much fun.
Is like my feet don't hurt when I'm on the move looking at cards, and if I'm looking around, I go, oh, I didn't find my swords. But that thing's cool. That's cool. I've never seen this before.
I mean, how many
with you doing it with me is too. I could be like, look, this is special because this. Oh, this is a special printing that you don't ever really get to see. They only did this one in Italian. Like I would point.
I mean, there was me, you, Derek, and Justin all talked about seeing that lightning bolt of the playmat that Justin got, and being like, none of us had seen that card before.
Yeah,
that's great. Like 4 people that have been around Magic like that, never seen a card. That's insane.
Yeah. Justin and Derek are a different type of adjacent to it. Obviously, you've been around.
Yeah.
If I haven't seen a card, that's the real shock. Like I typically put my eyeballs on something. Like I know about the Japanese promo coming out for the Year of the Snake. I know about that. I'll never see that card in English, and if I do, because I saw the Year of the Dragon one, which was Corvold. I don't want to do it because he's kind of CDH. I got my cool secret layer of Corvold. Yeah. But this next one, it's Xyrus. If I see Xyrus, dude, it's on site.
Okay.
150 on site.
Done.
Go and get it signed. Buy it 150, pay another 30 to damage it.
Magic cards. So yeah, no, I actually, once I had something to look for, looking at cards was way more fun. Obviously, there was also a lot of ones I was like, oh, that thing's cool. Oh, did you see this? This is sick. This is cool. This card's spooky. I still think of that weird like ape multi-armed monster one that I forget the name of, or the chain one with the weird
one that
goat
was
face.
yellow. That you were, what the fuck are you talking about? You're talking about Magic cards?
Yeah, remember your like chains of Mephistopheles or whatever.
Change of Mephistopheles.
That
yeah,
one
yeah.
with the
Okay.
goat face,
Sure,
that one's
sure.
creepy. But then there's another one that's like beasts of something, and it's like it looks like a gorilla in a tree, but it's got I think like 4 arms, and you just have like the glowing eyes.
Oh, I can see the gorilla.
Yeah.
Yes. Also an old card.
Yes.
I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I know what you're talking
it's
about.
like almost like the
Oh, I
creatures
thought you were talking
from.
about Supreme Verdict, the one that's Destroy All Monsters style, the poster art
Oh,
that was
no,
the yellow.
no.
I was like,
Not that
What
one.
the fuck?
It almost reminds me of the creatures from Attack the Block. If
Oh,
they had
sure.
only eyes instead of the mouth, which the mouth kind of looked like eyes when they were doing it, with the blue.
Yeah.
I need to watch that movie.
I watched it on the plane to Vegas.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
I haven't watched that movie in a long time. I remember really liking
It
it.
holds up. I watched it again. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
damn, this movie is good. Like I really liked this a second time.
What a crazy to see that unique of a creature without it being just like another.
I mean, but the movie
super
didn't
long,
really hit
crazy.
hard for like money wise.
I
Like
know.
I didn't hear much about it, so it didn't do well for it. But I mean, they all went on to make good shit. So.
Yeah, I'm hoping the people that did the creature effects at least got another job off of it stuff because
Yeah,
they were
for sure,
sick.
for sure.
And then so that we did all the shopping, all that stuff, and I really because there's all those people. Hey, scan your badge, see if you win something, and I'm like, what is the likelihood that any of these emails ever go out? Like, or is it just like an engagement thing?
Well, because they pay. So what? Were you there when I was asking the guy about the
Yeah,
service?
because they have to pay for it to
They
go on
pay
the
for a
scanner.
service, and when they get the code equates to our emails. It's something else. Maybe our addresses. Maybe it was just email address. It equates to name and email.
Yeah.
So what we did was just say, here, sign me up for your newsletter.
Yeah,
Is essentially
right.
what happened. So we're going to be getting those emails.
Well, I
Almost
meant
certainly.
like
They're paying for it.
The
We're getting it.
giveaway part is like.
Oh, the giveaway is going to happen.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, I trust those companies
Well,
to give away the 2 things they have to give
I'm
away.
ready to win my dual land.
A dual land would be dope. There was the dice full of dice that I was like, I don't want to win this, but I'll fucking scan it. Like, because it'd be cool. It'd be something.
Oh
to have
yeah,
around
it'd
here.
be,
Like,
yeah. It's,
what's the worst?
It's not going to go to my house. It's going to go into here somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. But a dual land would be dope.
Yeah.
I would just be like, here you go, CGB.
Yeah, I mean,
'Cause
I'm not going.
I don't want to have a deck that has a dual land in it. I think I don't want my deck to actually functionally by name, by like type of card, to be an impossible build for someone to have.
Yeah.
I want mine to be impossible by style.
Yeah.
Only like, oh, you don't have the full art foil Lorne of the Third Path Chrome signature. Yours is $6.
Oh my goodness. Oh, did you get my text about cloth? I completely forgot.
Yeah. Cloth and whatever his fucking turtle shell having
Yeah.
ass.
Took first?
Yeah.
That's
it made
crazy.
me think, I was like, is it Terrapagos?
Yeah, like something like that. It's like Terra. I think it's Terra. But then also like the Galapagos Islands, so Terrapagos.
Yeah, Terrapagos. That's what I
Yeah.
said.
Oh yeah, Terra. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see what he does, because I was like, dude, there's no way Cloth could have won, because they last rotation they got rid of spicy seasoned curry, which is like the only
thing that
it's
did it.
one of 2 ways you can status affect yourself negatively,
Yeah.
which is the whole function of the deck. So unless they reprinted spicy seasoned curry, and I didn't know,
I don't know.
but all the same,
I just saw that was
I'm
kinda
sure
cool.
the Terrapagos is functional and required.
So I'll be looking out for my winning
I'd rebuild
emails, get my dice, get my dual land, and then after that, you essentially got to escalators to go down to the dungeon with the weird lighting and just
Yeah, man, that's it. I'm happy because that play space, there's so much space for ticketed events. People are like, I want to go to Magiccon and do a chaos draft. I'm like,
Yeah.
who are you? What?
you're over there in the corner.
There's 30,000 of you people down
There's
here though.
tons
That's
of
where it's
people.
like it's most of the people, and if it's a 50,000 event, I'm like, it's got to be a little more than half down there.
I've-
To be fair, if I had to go down and play a pickup game after lunch, whatever, it's a good spot to do
Yeah.
it. But it's crazy to me that I'm like, I can't believe you're coming to a con and you're doing an event, like period. Namely, Snowbike Mike and Bless. I'm like, what are you guys doing playing a 2-headed giant event here?
Yeah.
You live in a huge city, and I asked Bless about it, what LGSs he went to, and he named like 6 things. I'm like, dude, you're fine. You can go play any card game you want at any time of day in
Yeah.
any of these places, and you come here to do a 2-headed giant, surrounded by people who have no fucking clue who you are, with no pomp and circumstance
So
or whatever. It's
the-
just like, I'd be walking the whole time.
The only thing I could think of is like they're thinking of what's the content we want to make after this, talking about it. What's the KF podcast or whatever podcast look like after this? We need this. We need to talk about this, and we want to cover event. Like, it's almost like a job. Like, they're like, we wanted to see what an event's run like, maybe. But yeah, it's so funny because like I felt bad for anyone running an event down there because we would be at a table like this or standing up at a table and someone would be sitting there and they would say something. I'd be like, what did you just say? I can't hear you.
It's screaming.
It's impossible to hear you. For the people that are like, all right, Magic players, and they're trying to gather like 50 people to start an event and they're just using their voice.
Well, good news is a lot of the gathering bits. So all of those events that I've seen at other cons are in a floor that have the tall ceiling. I've never been one and so dungeony.
Yeah.
But they also, besides having the colored magic areas, white, blue, black, red, green, we're in the green play space, come find us there. At the other cons, it was all of that, but then there were little posts all around. That was the Chandra post, the Teferi post, and they would have the colors within the Planeswalkers. So it's like we're in red Chandra, not red Kolth or red whatever other Planeswalker, you know.
Yeah.
So they would have varying things like that. So it was a little bit easier to be like, meet here. If you don't meet here, the event starts without you. Or they would have certain polls that were just pickup games. We're doing a pickup draft if anyone wants to come do.
I saw somebody walking around at one point. They would just hold signs that said like casual and a finger. Like there's a game going on, a casual game looking for one player, and they would just be walking around that floor.
Yeah.
I was like, that's cool, interesting,
it's just funny
weird.
because to me, I'm like, I get if you're in Traverse City and there's 2 game stores technically, and even no matter which game store you go to, you're playing Magic, you're going to see the same people.
Yeah.
Because they run at different times and there's only these 2 now. I can see being like, I need to play with a different human being. I need to feel just to play with a truly random person. But I'm like, go to Cadillac.
Ghost, yeah.
Don't drive to Chicago, spend $100 to get in the door, and then pay for an event. And then whatever. There's people who are doing pickup events down there that I imagine maybe they are taking a break. Maybe they are looking for singles. I know people who go to Magiccon just because there's all the people there that they can trade in cards that are such high value that I saw a guy hand out like 10K next to me. And I was like, dude, what did you trade in? That is insane. Is your collection gone? Like, but dude, watching them flap that cash just like on the table with so many people around, I'm like, dude, that is making me insecure for you. What are you gonna just do? Walk out and take that to the bank? Like,
this is Chicago.
Like here, Uber driver, flick a couple of these to the Uber drivers. I don't know, but to say you have to go to a con to make 15, 20 grand on your collection, I go, yeah, because TC Paintball's not handing out 20K right now.
Yeah.
I get that, but I can't. It's just I don't understand the ticketed play mindset personally.
Yeah.
It is. I will say, unless you're going for one specific thing, which ticketed play to get tickets as a prize to then take it to the prize wall where you can buy the jumbo cards, where you can buy the things that then sell for $1,500.
Yeah.
You know, there's like prizes that you can only get at those walls that are really cool, but there's also people that just pay for prize tickets.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rate is anymore, but it used to be like 100 prize tickets was either 25 or $50, I forget. But it was like a ticket is 25 cents. And this thing costs 3,000 tickets, so it's going to cost me $1,500 to just buy. I'll just buy this one because it's brand new, and I can turn and sell it for $1,500 again, or I can just keep it. And it's just a way to buy things off the prize wall. So people who just go and make tickets to then sell them to those guys, like I don't know what they're all doing, but it could be those.
Yeah.
That's just not me.
Still cool to see. It was weird because, like I said, low ceilings, dungeon feeling. The lighting's all off. I would get I'd get hot, get the waft of the hot dog cart, but it never smelled like hot dogs. It was like hot dogs. Oh god, because it was like so oniony and so like.
Well, the Chicago dog's a lot different.
Yeah, that's true. But it was a lot down there.
They got the neon green relish.
Yeah, it was because the rest of the crew hung out down there a lot. I'm like, God, I want to spend as little time as possible. I went down there to try to see if we could find people, and that was it. Yeah. It was like if we went to find somebody, that's where we'd go. Yeah, but other than that, it was like I want to be up. I go down there sometimes just to come back up because then up top felt cooler and bigger and brighter. I'm like, there's like a breeze. There's no breeze. No, there's a breeze. I can feel it.
There's a breeze when you're going up the escalator. That pressure difference was so great. It was like I'm getting wafted.
Yeah. So, and that was essentially the con. Then, like I said, 2 lobbies, and there was the auditorium and stuff.
Yeah, when it comes to like what we did or otherwise, I mean, we had Portillo's, we had pizza that was not
So bad.
what we wanted.
So bad.
I mean, I didn't have your pizza, which
Yeah.
from everyone who had a slice of yours was like, dog, that is way worse than what we had. But as someone who's had the Genos and since the Giordano's and whatever, the one that feels a little bit more corporate, the one that feels smaller, I've had a lot of Chicago pizzas. I think that was the worst Chicago pizza I've had in Chicago.
It's very telling where there was 10 of us at the table, 9 of us.
9 of us.
At the table. There were 3 pieces of our pizza left over, and she's like, "You want a box to take it home?" And not a single person wanted a box to take it. Now we were in Chicago, we would have to travel, but breakfast the next morning, like there was many options to eat a pizza.
Shay brought a tub of pho.
Yeah,
with us. I was like, no
one wanted that pizza. That's telling a lot. So
For sure. But the one that we had was gone. I think maybe because it was just the meat one that we ordered. But also, I was like, I'll go in for this one again. It cooled off real quick. That it automatically wasn't as good as my first bite, but first slice.
I think there was a lot of different things, but I think the biggest thing that was wrong with the pizza was it tasted like you were eating pizza on a pie crust, not a pizza crust.
I'll give you that.
It was weird.
It really did. There was like a flakiness,
and the back of it was just like
dough.
Snap hard and like instantly.
That didn't bother me as much. Maybe because I had so much sauce on mine, whereas like yours had tomato but like no sauce.
Yeah,
it's one of the sauce. It was just there's no sauce.
There's no sauce.
But the ones that I like are ones that are like they're fucking glooped and like it's so wet. That's the kind that I pictured, and the kind that not that wet maybe, but the kind that we had at Giordano's the last year was better. So I'm sad that it was. But to be fair, none of us had ever been there.
Yeah,
it was just like, oh, this one's getting high reviews, and John and Mike said they went and got good pizza.
Okay.
But
and
they didn't order a veggie pizza. That was the one that was shit. So I'm like, I can't even blame you guys. It was
And the Portillo's, although I wasn't a big fan of the dogs, hot onion rings were fire, and I really like their milkshakes. So
and what a cool space.
And a very cool space.
And considering that there's 1,000 of them too, it's just like for me, I loved the hot dogs. I love sport peppers on hot dogs.
The peppers were really good.
Dude, put a sport pepper on anything now. I'm like, why don't they exist up here? But I could see that being like, let's just stop in. That's just a good spot to
bite.
get something.
Yeah.
And because they serve just single hot dogs, you can be like, I just want a hot dog. Boom, boom, boom. Quick, gone.
Yep.
Slurping glizzies.
Because it was funny because I was telling Bethany, I was like, this is what we ate in Chicago. And she's like, oh, really? It's so sad. I heard all the food was good. I was like, yeah. And I was like, man, we really didn't eat many places.
Well, because we had Portillo's twice.
And I had Con Pizza twice. And then we had that one pizza, and that was it.
Pizza, yeah, it's like we really didn't do variations. I mean, we didn't do variations last time because I'm there for magic.
Yeah,
and food's gonna that's another Chrome signature I could be getting. You get it.
Oh yeah.
So it's like I'll survive on just boxes of raisins. If that's all I have to do to get through this con. I don't really care.
Throughout the weekend, I did eat 10 protein Pop-Tarts that I planned on bringing, and the whole reason I brought them was to have them on the floor, so I didn't feel like I needed to go out for lunch or whatever.
For me, it was the one that I don't want to say I didn't plan for, but going next time, I think I just want to bring not a case, but just 4 energy drinks, like the little 4-pack. Just buy that and put it in the fridge.
Yep.
Because it was like I would wake up and be like, all right, I need to go get caffeine, but I would rather get an artist signature. I would rather do this, and it'd be 4 o'clock by the time I had my first bit of caffeine, which does not affect me the way it affects you because I don't drink as much as you do, caffeine wise. But it would have had you fucking crippled.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I need to.
I had 3 of the Bum energy drinks that I really liked. Cherry Frost. I had those in the fridge, 1 for each day, essentially.
Yeah.
By the time I drank all of them, they were warm because they were in the fridge, and I would drink them around 2 o'clock on the con floor. They were in my back pocket or the backpack. So I put them in the fridge. At that time, I was like, I don't know why I even put them in the fridge. I could just leave them out. They were definitely necessary. I do think
I have Brent on 2 screens. I think that's too much, Brent.
No such thing, dude.
Brent's a 3-screen kind of guy, dude. Look at it's all in the beard.
I didn't shave. I really needed. I slept in this morning because yesterday about midday, I was like, I'm feeling like I felt like when you were over there on the thing, you were like, I don't know what my body wants to do. I also felt like I just feel tired. Morning was fine. Everything was in the middle.
Honestly, there's a bit of my tired today. I need 1 screen for work. Okay, well, whatever you need. There's always your phone. You can always have a phone up.
Yeah.
But yesterday,
do your work on
I'm
your
glad
phone.
you said it because I'm not one to really feel that kind of tired long term.
Yeah.
But maybe it was because it was like I also didn't feel sore, so maybe my body just put in overtime. But I slept well. I also slept a little shorter, longer than I should have. I guess I slept in from where my alarm should have been, but it's because I stayed up late because I was so buzzed from driving. had lightning in my
Yeah,
veins.
and I woke up. I went to the gym, felt great. I got here, felt energized. It was like that
And then just
middle of the day.
fucking-
I was editing standing, and I could just feel myself like leaning and like, and I went, "What the? What is going on?" So I sat down in the chair,
That's why
and then
I
I
laid
went,
over there because I was like, dude, I don't.
But
I
then-
was ready to build this set. I came back ready to like, let's do it.
That's why
And
I was
got here
asking.
and I was like,
But then after
comatose.
that middle area, we drove home, and I was like, "Do you want to play games?" And Bethany's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Let me text Alec and Em." They were in, and then we were balling. Like I was fine then.
I
Once
went
I
to
got
a
done balling,
movie
went to bed.
where I almost fell asleep in the movie, but I didn't bring that up because I don't think it was the
Yeah,
movie.
no, yeah, it was not
Again,
the
I
movie.
did say the pacing was bad, but it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't Borderlands.
I think luckily, knock on wood, because there's still a little bit of a window. I don't think either of us got con crud, but I definitely think we got wore down, and yesterday showed it.
Yeah. Well, I've never had Con Crud.
That's good. I took
Maybe a Comic-Con or something a long time ago, but
I took a lot of supplements over the weekend.
I meant to. I paid for them.
Yeah.
I paid for them the day before, started taking them the day before, and then just left them
Con
at
fun.
home.
I miss all the con talk. I mean, we're still in it, Tron, but you did miss a chunk of it.
I'd say 98% of it. Because if we're going to talk about Monster Hunter weapons, it's got to be an hour.
Oh yeah, we got to talk about Monster Hunter weapons. Tron, I'm sorry, we do have to jump, but we did it. The con was fun. Tron,
It was fun.
Had a blast. A lot of different stuff, a lot of notes, a lot of things to get done for the next one, which is funny because it's like as soon as we got done, we're driving home and like I pulled out a list like, okay, let's get this done for this one. So we're already prepped for the next one.
I'm glad you did because I was driving.
Yeah. So, I mean, I wrote it up on the whiteboard over there for the merch stuff that I was thinking, different things I want to get ready. We talked about the other stuff that I'm like, okay, next time I need this in place and stuff. So,
Right.
but
The next one we're going to will be, because I've never been to a Command Fest. I've never been to any of the other ones. I don't want to be.
okay.
Magiccons, now that, especially if they do 3 in the U.S. instead of 2 in the U.S. every year, I'm just going to go to those and call it good. If I go to all of those, because I don't know what my future holds, but if it were up to me today, I would go to all 3.
Yeah.
Which the next one is end of June, Vegas.
Yep.
And then it's, I think, end of September is Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
I'm sad
Atlanta's
'cause
the big one,
if-
last year Vegas was the big one, right?
I think they just switched dates. I think Vegas is still the big one. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, they just moved it.
But if I tell you that, you'd be disappointed because it feels the same.
Well, I just meant, like,
I don't know what
where's the
makes it
world?
bigger.
Because one's the world
It's
championship,
worlds,
right?
yeah, but
Vegas is.
But they still set that off to the side, like
Totally,
they did the Pro
but-
Tours. So,
but, you know.
but they might put it in Atlanta because if it is worlds, they might only care about the time period, not
That's what I was
where it's
wondering.
at. I don't really know, but Vegas feels big because you're in Vegas. I think that's like the only reason.
That's fair.
Everybody's always gambling and doing stuff, and they got more flavor because I think Chicago's a great city. I'd prefer it to Vegas literally any time. But Vegas is one where you can put up all of the different crazy shit that's outside. You can put dice and all the gambling stuff like on merch. Chicago's like hot dogs,
Yeah.
Navy Pier, pizza.
It's funny
And
because
then that's Chicago. We're windy, baby. You
Yeah.
know? It's like, okay, sure.
the biggest thing difference for me from NAIC to seeing Magiccon Chicago is for Magiccon Chicago, once you were in the event, it was all Magic. That's who you ran into. But outside of that, like you would see the trails, and they did have a dentist convention going on as well. So I saw dentists, I saw Magic people. Out in Chicago, I just saw random normal people, and sometimes I'd pick out con people like at Portillo's or whatever. But it was like when I went to NAIC for Pokemon, it was like the entire building was Pokemon. When you saw somebody that wasn't Pokemon, they were looking around like, "What is happening?"
They were working, or
You
they
move,
were, yeah.
you turn a corner in the hotel, and there's people on the floor playing Pokemon 6 floors away from the event.
For me,
it's crazy.
It's tough. It's tough to say because I don't know how real like any of it could happen. But for me, I would, in a perfect world, I would substitute Vegas. Going to Vegas, I would substitute that with our last year's May trip in Florida. I would do that instead. I would rather be there for a week and almost like on an actual vacation and be filming things with people, even if it's not the same people. I love Ash. I'd love her to come. But if it was anyone else too, that'd be great. I would rather do that than Vegas. And then I would also substitute one of the cons for a Pokemon convention. I would much rather go, just because I haven't been to one.
Yeah.
And I think about what's going to happen in Vegas, and I'm like, I know what's going to happen in Vegas. Like, I know how it's going to look and what I'm going to want to be doing. So I'm excited for it. But I would do the
Maybe
others
alternate a little bit.
Too. Yeah.
Wow, get to my side of the U.S. and you don't want to do it. I'm personally hurt.
I've been to that one 2 times now. It would be my 3rd time.
Vegas and Atlanta are both Pro Tours. Worlds is TBD. That's interesting.
Oh, interesting.
So would there be like another con, or would Worlds be its own separate thing? We'll have to look into it.
Good question. I mean, Worlds was its own separate thing before cons, of course.
True.
So
Balance is a good idea. Yeah. I think the hardest part.
Well, and the reason I say Vegas is because I always found Vegas to be tough and hot and whatever anyway, because it's a wicked expensive city. Like Chicago's expensive, the con's expensive, but everything in Vegas is more expensive. Not a single stop. But I've always gone in October, November, and it's been hot. In June, fuck me, it's the desert. Like I just don't. When I was there, I said, guys, Vegas is in June next year. We are not going. I said that in Vegas. Now, I'm like, of course, I'm out. I'm like, all right, maybe I would go. Yeah. I would have to completely change the way I'm like, we're packing all of our food because I don't care about that kind of food like that. I went to the $5 breakfast and paid $40 for Shay and I was like, how did we get here? Oh, because the soda was $6 with my $5 breakfast. I was like, holy shit. And then coffee was expensive, and then Shay wanted like a cinnamon roll or something. But I was like, how the fuck did we get to 40? I mean, you also know how I order. Yeah. So it's like, I can do that in Chicago. I can't do that in Vegas, but I want to.
Dry heat, at least. I've never experienced dry heat.
110 feels fucking balmy when you're there. Dude.
I realize
I bring the moisture when I'm sweating like crazy.
I've traveled very little. I know that. But everywhere I have traveled has always been humid heat. I don't know what dry heat feels like.
Still fucking hot.
I know. But everyone always says that. It's dry heat. I don't know what that means.
A dry 100 feels like a wet 85. You know?
Have to get the Stripe for the better prices. Average 102. Woo!
But
you know what feels great outside right now? 40.
That's the reason I would cut Vegas, because also it's Atlanta. It's at the end of September, so we're just getting into spooky season, and Atlanta has a lot of cool, like just the South overall has great horror stuff related, and like a spirituality and a folklore kind of thing. But also, I have friends in Atlanta that I'd be staying in. It's naturally the cheaper option because it's a different city, but also because I would be completely eradicating my room fee and just be staying with friends.
Yeah.
And the last time I was down there was in October, and the weather was fucking perfect. So that's why I'm just like, and it's also their first time in Atlanta. It'd be the first time going to a con that I've been to Vegas twice, and it was in 2 different buildings. I don't know where they're putting it this year, but I bet if I looked, I'd be like, oh, I've been here. I felt in Chicago. I've been here before, but yeah.
Okay. I'm open to do any of them, all of them. I don't travel enough.
We were off the Strip. The first year I did it, I was in an Airbnb quite a ways from the Strip, and I did public transit all the way to the con. I tried doing it on the cheap, and I ate the same restaurant every day because it was like a $4 breakfast burrito. That was fire.
That's sick.
Yeah, it was. I almost told you, I was like, Shay, you want to go back to that spot? Like it'd be a $20 Uber to get there, which eliminates the price value.
Yeah.
But I was like, it was fucking good. It was like a chain taco place. That was
nice.
But it was a West Coast, like a surfer taco. So it was like fruity taco kind of stuff. It was fucking great. If Pliables was a taco spot, is how I would describe it, with its color and its stuff. So
cool.
It was really great.
All right. We talked Magic. We talked con. We want to do Monster Hunter weapons?
Oh yeah. We'll rip through the weapons real quick.
All right, cool.
I don't know, because we don't have a whole lot of time. I don't know if we want to speak too much on it, but
Whoa.
What did you play before in World?
Doubled up.
Whoa.
There we go. What did I play in World? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
So what I played in World was, I think, the bow and arrow is what I played. I think that was it.
Oh, we played the same then.
Yeah.
Great.
So easy.
I know I'll be playing the same here. I'll be looking for hunting horn, but I don't know about you, but you might want to be switching.
Okay.
Because there's some cool shit going on with these.
Well, in this one I did the, we'll go through. So we'll play a couple.
Let's just watch. Let's watch
these.
Dual Blades. This is Greg Miller's favorite, and this was my first weapon in the game. Are you trying to have audio?
I was going to say, do we want audio?
We don't need
audio. It's just right there. Okay. And it's also, it looks like we've got the...
Yeah, turn off the CC, though.
Oh, that's weird, yeah. Boop.
There we go.
These always...
Enter demon mode to boost damage, dude. Who doesn't want to be in demon mode?
I mean, these weapons are just the coolest in my eyes, just because it's like...
Well, I think they look great. I love because part of what I like about the bow is the the agility that you get, the motion.
That is really
Dude,
cool.
Spinning down the fucking spine of a
so
monster
Attack
is
on Titan.
dope as shit.
I think
But
that's what
also,
Alex planned.
the combos, because of how fast they are, you dodge quick. You know, you're like, oh, I can get out of the way. The reason I don't play weapons like this is because there's a lot of flyers.
Oh, okay. A lot of flying.
Yep. Just go ahead and go right into next.
All right. Oops. Fuck me.
What are you doing, dog?
I misclicked when I clicked the mouse shifted to the thing next to it. Okay, here we go.
All right, now we're looking at the lance. A little phallic.
I was going to say that looks suggestive.
Yes. Little, it's ribbed for pleasure.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Oh, I thought.
So.
Is that guy in the beta? I feel like that guy looks familiar.
I think he was in those later beta, the second
Okay, maybe
beta.
not.
I forget. Well,
He
did
looks
you
like
play the
such-
first one? He might have been in there.
He just looks like a little sad dog.
His thrusting attacks are quick and safe.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
What?
It's safe because you have the shield. You're just tanky. You can see it with the shield. You're doing like shield bash stun attacks.
Mm-hmm. I tried because
So guard and
on the beta I
counters.
tried a little bit of sword and shield, and I couldn't get the shield to really do anything. I just kept getting punched and thrown away, and I'm like, man, this shield's worthless.
From what I've seen, with it's a lot of timing and stuff. You're always up close. You're kind of tanking, but it seems like Monster Hunter players are always like, "Hey, we're looking for a lance player."
Oh,
Like it's like a support
desire?
kind of pickup because you're looking for tank. I think because it's like so low value. Here we are, dude.
Gotcha.
Look at the fucking feather. That's a poncho looking ass if I've ever seen one.
It is really cool.
Yeah, what I like about this one is the range. So you're always farther away, which always makes me feel safer.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there is actually the reason I'm thinking of switching away.
That?
The thing that was just before, where there's you have weapons and weapon coatings that you have to craft and build, and then you use them against a monster to build up a status attack against it. So you need to have whatever it is, like paralyzing or a certain type of coating on a certain type of monster to make it effect, and you have to stack it before the effect happens.
Dang.
And it's like such a key part to playing it correctly in a higher level. Not that I'm trying to be a pro. The new focus mode is so sick.
But Derek
Look at
is
that
going
damage,
to
dude.
bring you to that.
He didn't last time.
Oh, okay.
Because you can kind of infuse your weapon with like a soft version of it, so you do greater damage. So here, I'm going to just pause for a second.
Yep.
So with the bow, you can make an electric bow. The electric bow will do more damage to the enemy that requires electric damage as like a weakness. So you're doing more damage. Sometimes it's either more tear damage, which is about breaking off parts. Sometimes it's just more raw damage or crit if you hit the right spot. But then if you use the paralyzing arrow, which is like the electric arrow, it'll build the status effect and it'll fucking stun them so that Derek can greatsword combo and hit for 400 on like one swing or whatever. It's like two different types of things. So it's easy enough to get the right bow. And what I really like is you're never then stuck with the one weapon. You're like, I actually have... It's like opening a closet and having 15 bows, and you're like, I'm going to go kill this monster today. And you pull out the right bow. There's something cool about, like, I'm always switching. But the way I've been playing Destiny the same forever and ever has me saying, I think I just want the same play style forever and ever.
Oh, okay.
Which is, I'm barely in it. I'm here as a support in a sort of way. I'm also not trying to deal a lot of damage per se. I sometimes I end up doing it anyway.
Yeah, you know.
I'm there just to be like, I know Derek and Tim are just fucking, they want big numbers. They're both Timmies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, anything I can do to help my Timmies live is going to get this monster dead so I can carve its fucking anus out of its body. You know what I mean? And I
Yep.
can wear it like a fucking balaclava.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, God.
I turned it inside out.
Oh, okay. That is fine. That is fine.
I need to poop over the outside.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. I didn't realize what I was signing up for.
That's what Monster Hunters do, dude. That's just the life. You got to be ready to live
Tron,
the life.
this is the new one that comes out Friday? Right?
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah, Friday. No expansion
Oh,
announced.
that's the
There are DLC coming, but I think it's all like gear
So this
shit.
is the one that I had during the beta that I ended up liking.
Yeah, the Switch X is dope because it has the two modes. So
Yes.
it's almost like, I mean, the game's already got two weapons, but it's got like the different stances that are just different styles of fights. So it's naturally versatile against the different monsters you're going to fight. Love a long reach.
It's weird because this one...
For the floaters. And then for speed, you're like, all right, they're knocked out. I can do the long reach for the heavier attack
Yeah.
because it's a slower combo. But if you're dealing with one of the early monsters or one that's just all about like putting AoE shit in the ground, you got to move quick.
Wait, what was it this one? I might have been thinking of a different because there's the one that I had.
You did the charge blade.
The charge blade.
Yes, you said the same thing last time, and I
'Cause
described
it
it to you, and
seems
you're
like
like, that doesn't sound right.
It
Sword and
sounds right.
shield. Everybody loves themselves a sword and board.
I like.
If you're starting out, I don't see why someone wouldn't start out with this because it's pretty normie. It's like picking Mario in Mario Kart. You're like, all the stats are pretty middle.
For me, I was doing this in the beta, and
God, doesn't that shit look dope though?
it does look dope.
Like this version, this armor.
I think for me, I maybe it's because I'm just bad at the game, but I felt like I couldn't do anything with the sword and shield. And so far, we see him knocked down 3 times, and I'm just like, yeah, that's what it felt like. I felt like I could poke. I'd get on. This would be cool when I was on, and then it was just a lot of this screen right here.
Yeah, well,
And then
I'll tell
his
you,
shield
I've
blocked
never
that. That's
met
crazy.
anybody who plays sword and shield.
Yeah,
I think it's because it's a good starter weapon. It gets you into the game. It can teach you the mechanics of just functionally how it all works. Now, light bowgun, dude. All right, this is the one I've been thinking about doing.
okay.
The difficult thing is, I think I just picked something else that has the same problem as the bow.
Oh, okay.
Which is like, well, it just shoots special types of ammo.
Yeah.
But I've been playing Monster Hunter now for quite some time. I'm at like level 40 or whatever. This weapon is what I've really been digging on. It's just steady state for the same thing, just dum 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 dum, just shooting like a minigun style thing.
Mm-hmm.
But because you can sort of like the different ammo types, you can have charges and primers that you put on. You can have it's. I just don't know what the ammo acquisition is going to look like in this game.
Yeah.
And without having seen the weapons and how they function per se, because I did World and Rise, they both were like so very different. Like you could have any type of ammo on any type of weapon in one of them.
Okay.
The other one was like, this one just comes with these 3 types of ammo. See, like that trap thing.
Yeah.
That's partially where I'm like, okay, I could be setting shit on the ground as like a safety net for myself so that if it gets near, it starts blowing
Yeah.
up. The focus mode's a lot
Ooh, hit
easier
the
to
weak
hit when
mode.
you're shooting.
Or weak point.
Yeah, weak points with focus mode. So it's just steady state damage. It does a lot of stun stuff, but it's weird. It doesn't go into the heavy bowgun from here. Hammer is dope. Oh god, it looks so fucking cool.
It does
with
look
the
cool.
brain in it. So what's really cool about this armor set, if I think right, I think to get this armor after seeing some of the reviews, I think you kill a giant octopus. There is a giant octopus in the game that you kill, and I think this is the armor it gets you.
That's pretty cool.
Looking at the shoulder piece, I think is part of the tentacle.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the bits with the hammer, it is big Timmy damage. But one of the big things is it's applying a lot of like a stun effect. You can almost see the twinkling
as
it's hitting in the head. Those
lot of
twinkles are like
knockback.
I'm not unconscious, but I'm down for a second. Derek hit the big greatsword combo.
Yeah.
Partially why I didn't ever have to go crazy on those paralyzed bow, whatever, or
Yeah.
sleep them is because Tim was out here just headbutting shit
Got it.
with the hammer. So hammer, dope. Now here's where you were.
Now the charge blade. Yeah, this is what I was doing because I had the sword and shield, which I like, but I could.
But then you
switch.
attach the sword
Yeah,
and
and
the
then make
shield
the-
into that fucking
That's
crazy
so
looking
fucking
axe.
cool.
Now, I don't think of it as this is how it's going to look because all your weapons are going to look this dope as as you kill the spider queen chick. So I know you like the Bloodborne hunter looking ass dude there, but yeah, you're charging up the files as they're called up there. And then once you switch, you get to use those files and do big damage.
That's what it is. Okay.
As you hit, it's taking a file away and it's adding an energy to it.
That's okay. Because when I was playing, I was switching between the two, mostly just trying to figure out what the attacks look like and the timing and stuff. But
This
then
one-
every once in a while, the hammer or the axe thing would do so much more damage. I'd be like, what on screen is
you
telling
see
me
that
that?
right there? It took all 5 away. So what I was just about to tell you was you get special attacks with special amounts of the files that you use up. This is one of the ones where it's like, if you like fighting games and you like deciding combo, like look at that. That's fucking
So cool.
insane. But there are so many button combos. You've only got like maybe 3 buttons to push that are going to affect your combos. You have to push them in the right order without seeing the... Like before you press, you'll do X, Y, X, and before the first X triggers, you need to hit the button. So you need to like press your combos confidently in order, and you're going to have a long list of them. So my warning to you on this one is you're going to have to be measuring your files. You're going to have to be transforming your thing, which is all animations that are going to take you out of the fight for a bit, and you have to then execute a combo that you might fuck up and waste some of your files on. And if you get rid of 2 files, well, now you don't have enough to actually do the thing you wanted to do. So you're stuck here using your files until you switch back. And then you have to have all the right combos kind of not memorized or anything, but memorized. And like, okay, I know what I need to use. It's arguably the first or second most complex weapon in the game. I think the insect glaive is the one that most people are like, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
But that's one where you're taking pieces of the monster and gaining their power, and then you're jumping up in the air and you're like so mobile, and it's, we'll see it.
I liked it because it had a skill.
It's got a high ceiling.
Because I think
got a high ceiling,
my thing is if Alec, Bethany, M really like this game and we keep playing, so far from now, I'm gonna be bored of doing the same thing. Where I'm like, if there's something I can,
you can always switch.
I can always
no
switch.
Pun intended.
But I'm a one. Give me the one thing, and then I just keep playing it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that I'm going to try and switch off of, because this game now has in one fight at a camp you can just switch weapons.
Yeah.
So there might be
And you can
phase
carry
2
as well.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, it is a carry. Well, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, it's because you just
don't
go
have
to
to go
your
to camp. Then you can just switch the weapon.
Yeah, you just go to your mount. I think it's on your mount.
Yeah. So switching my weapon will be really nice, because I might do it for that, and because I don't want to say I mastered the bow. I wasn't perfect at it, but I really had it locked down. Best NA.
There you go.
I was really good with the bow, and the combo from what I played a little bit before, it's the same combo. The difference is focus mode for every weapon, but I might if I do 2, I'll do another one we haven't gotten to yet.
Okay, here we go. Let's get back to it then.
Oh, that was the charge blade. Now we're on to longsword.
Longsword, which I thought was cool in an option, but
this is big
I didn't
slash
like
damage.
I didn't like the swings of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan.
Swift combos.
I think
love that.
actually right there was a good, because I felt like I was missing. I would swing and start swinging like in a diagonal away from the monster. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That could have been him actively aiming to the arms, because the arms break.
That's possible. But I felt like I was doing that unintentionally, and I would just start sliding away from the monster with the swings. I mean, not being able, because there's no lock on, right?
Unfortunately, no, but you don't want to lock on. I pinky swear.
Okay.
Maybe if you could lock onto a specific part, I guess. But
well, for me, it's like I wish there was a lock on just to recenter my vision. Like I like being able to like turn away, look back, lock on, and boom, there's the monster. Okay, I can unlock now. There's no
funny.
like
I don't use lock on like that. That's just not going to be for me. But this is my other weapon.
the hunting horn.
This is the one that Rise changed it for me from World, where World you needed to be a fucking Excel spreadsheet master in order to use this. Rise changed a bit of it, so you couldn't do every upgrade and every combo. Your horn changed what you could status effect, but this is the support weapon. This one's really interesting because you can see place echo bubbles to grant special effects in an area. So you can set it so you say, hey, buddies, you all stand in this, and now you're going to gain increased tear damage. You're going to gain increased crit chance. You're going to gain health per second, increased armor, whatever it is. I imagine the horn is going to change what the bubble does. But then right here, 30s and 32s popping up that fast, those are big fucking numbers. The second thing is you get the monster in a bubble, and you can fucking rock out so the bubbles start exploding and doing damage, and you're essentially like
Right there.
setting traps.
I mean, it was a little bit, but
This right here. So once they're in it, you start rocking and rolling, and then you see the bubbles start to pop. And now I'm just, all the bubbles are doing the damage. It's not the horn. The horn is hitting, but the bubbles are like exploding to do the 30s and stuff. So that's the big part.
Right here, I just saw him doing the rock out like animation.
Yeah, it looks like he placed something on his head and then hit the weak point that way. That might have been his focus mode. But setting those bubbles down, right there, that was one of the big ones where he hits them and it status effects down the thing, so it keeps knocking him away. I'm like, I might not use it as an aggro thing, but setting up those bubbles for the AoE style, I think is perfect for what I'm looking for.
Very cool.
And if the bubble is the new way to add the effect, and that's the only way to add the effect, it's easy to be like, I'm placing a heal thing here, I'm placing a crit thing
It's right here. It's right here.
But the thing it has to be out now because of all the embargo being lifted and stuff. I'm gonna go home and just watch how to expert play the bow gameplay, how to expert play the hunting horn, and kind of see where the ceilings are. And if it's like I'm expecting, the ceiling for the horn will be much higher.
Yeah.
I also want to be the guy in the party that if I ever join in on randos, they go, oh, thank God, a fucking hunting horn. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit, this guy's going to keep us alive, or he's going to make his damage is actually just buffing us. That's how he deals damage. So I'm excited for that.
Cool.
Now we're on to the gun lance, which is stabby, set a bunch of explosive charges on people. I imagine this is what Tim will be playing. He goes, let me just stab you in the face real quick and shoot you in the gullet with a fucking
This
shotgun.
one was cool. I played a little bit. I just felt too slow.
Oh, it is super slow. That's why they give you the shield, because there is a sort of parrying, a block. Or look at that thing that's getting us. I'm curious to see what that number is, you know?
Yeah. It's
Show
funny
me
that
some
some of these
digits.
have numbers and some don't.
Yeah, and like, they were released out of order. I don't think this is the order they were released. They were also released like over like 2 months.
Yeah.
So it was very strange.
God, the game looks so pretty.
It really does look pretty. And it runs really well too, from what I've played.
The only thing I'm worried about from playing the demo, and of course it's the demo, but it's just all the videos I've seen of it, is it always just looks like the same
Spot.
the same area. Yeah, it's always desert. It's always
Don't you worry.
Okay.
I've seen enough stuff now. I mean, this is just call this a training arena, really. They're like, we're
Yeah.
all going to stand on these rocks and show off the weapons. That's why there was also only 3 monsters. That's in this world. You're going to go into caves and fight things in like slime puddles and stuff that are like the map is also part of the fight.
Got it.
The air is consistently poisoning you, so you need to regularly heal, or the enemy's going to drop spots on the ground you can't touch, or you can use the environment to deal hundreds of damage in one shot by like dropping a fucking canyon on someone, or dropping them into a canyon rather, or putting a stalagmite on them.
Yeah. The area stuff, the stalactites and all that different stuff was really
Traps.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoy that.
All right, so this is the other really high
This is the
ceiling
one that I think that is like, when I see someone properly play this, it's kind of like there's a style point to it. It's like Eddie Gordo. We were like, did you pick this guy because he's breakdancing while he's doing it?
Got
like,
it.
You're picking this guy, who knows if it's for damage, but you just want to be airborne. You want to be the monk. You want to be doing like crazy attacks that stick in the enemy, and you're doing fucking karate on him while he's fighting. So look at that shit. That's so dope.
I mean, this one is really cool.
Dude, I'm telling you, and the shit looks dope because your weapon is 2 pieces.
Yeah.
It's like the sword and shield, you got 2, but you send out the insect to give you upgrades, but the different pieces of the different enemies give you different upgrades and stuff. So this is where it's like you need a fucking bestiary knowledge. See how it filled 1 and 3? You need to find out what the combos are for each and how you fill them up. I don't know enough about it because I see it and I go, oh, that's dope for somebody else. But that thing right there, a move that just gives you verticality, is so useful in this game.
So good.
It's like, oh, you don't have to worry. That's the one I was talking about. You don't have to worry about fighting a monster in the air because you just combo, whoop, and I'm up in the air, and now I'm hitting you in the air like I'm a Iron Fist. Where it's like I can kill an Iron Man. Why? Because I'm chaining shit. Heavy bowgun. Boom. Just the tankier version of it. I don't know if it's doing more damage or the status effects are harder. They use the same kind of ammo, I believe, but I imagine their difference is like look how fast that one's shooting. It's also interesting because they might be attaching the different types of ammo to the gun itself. So like this gun comes with a Wyvern round, and this gun comes with like a airborne rocket you drop like a mortar strike, you know?
Yeah.
It's always hard to tell.
Ooh.
Got him. If you have to parry and do shit like that, that could be really fun. So
Yeah.
That's another one I've always thought Tim would really enjoy.
And then we're wrapping it up.
Wrapping it up with what Derek is... he locked in years ago to playing this weapon. He will never not play this. He goes, oh, big sword fight dragon? I'll do it. To be fair, though, this is one that the skill ceiling of it actually comes with timing because it's such heavy moves.
Yeah.
And in order to swing, you'll probably see it here, but like that, how long was that animation?
So
Holy shit. And
long.
you could tell by the way he ran into him,
Yeah.
he couldn't stop it.
That
Hitting
was
that counter,
a time.
dude, is
Holy shit.
fucking, you're talking like 3 digits every time. You're in 400 or 500 range.
Oh,
I wanna
so heavy.
I want to see the flip. I know. And it's only because of the sword. He's wearing light armor, you know?
Yeah.
This one, bam, that flip right there is... Derek only ever did that one when they were sleeping or knocked out or stunned. He's like, please, someone stun him so I can fucking do the rough and tumble.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, I mean, the game is going to be fun. I'm excited for it. I think I'm still going to stick with the... is this new one or Xbox, PS, or PC? I'll be playing on Xbox because I got a game share because it's expensive.
Yeah, I'll be on PC, but it's fully cross-platform. So
Yep, it'll be playable anywhere, but yeah, I'll be getting on an Xbox.
I get a PC for that, and also I can, if I need to do the bullshit, go farm some bugs and get some ammo, I can just do it on my Steam Deck. So I want my Steam Deck capable.
Will you be doing it with a controller on the PC? Okay, I was going to say, because
Absolutely.
in my
When
head,
you
it's
see
definitely
these
a controller.
menus, dog, oh my God, dude, I can't imagine having a separate button for all these things. It's like, I can't comprehend how that would function on a mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
There's so many radials and so many dials that are just like, pick the potion, pick the thing, and you're not slowing down the game. And in other games, it's like, okay, I can really take my time to think about it because it's either paused or
Yeah.
what. This is not one of those games.
Yeah, or you go into the mode and just...
Well, there was a lot of shit to do before, but, like, I didn't use these types of weapons, but you would knock an enemy down. They'd be like, oh, fuck, I got to get out of here. And they'd run away. And you'd be like, all right, well, they dropped a lot of pieces on the ground. I have to pick up all their parts and pieces. Let me pick up a couple berries that are around by, but also let me sit down. Let me sharpen my whetstone.
Yep, sharpening,
My 20-minute stamina fucking pot roast is going away, so let me just pull out the grill and eat a fucking steak real quick. All of that you can now do on your fucking
Mount.
chocobo.
Yeah,
looking ass.
yeah.
You can do it on that, and that is like, okay, and you can say, all right, chase the monster, and you can do it in the fight. It's just you don't have the time, which is good because it's a time-based game, so you want to have like all of the bullshit truncated. But when you're going, how do I pull out my fucking grill?
Yeah.
Where's the steak I cooked before I came here? Which one? Ding, 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 ding. There's my whetstone, because you're going to get special cloaks you can put on yourself that stop certain damage. You're going to have things that you can set on the ground that are like flares that do what the hunting horn does. You're going to have, like, there's so much shit. You're going to have honey and berries and certain bugs that blind the monster to target at certain things. Like, and then now you have 2 sets of weapons. Dude, I don't even know.
It's going to be a lot.
It's going to take a long time for me to warm back up to this game because it's also very just like, they're not going to tell you what's going on.
It's also
they're
not...
just like, yeah, just do it.
It's also
the
not,
internet's going to have to tell me.
Yeah, it's also not another shooter. It's like, it's not a game you've been playing. It's not like you jump to Marvel Rivals from Overwatch. You know what I mean? It's like
and I'm like, look, I'm silver right off the rip for sure. Yeah.
It's totally different from almost like anything else. Even like when I think of like a Soulsborne game where it's like this is boss
the closest thing as a Soulsborne game, but
it's
even
still
then,
very different.
Yeah,
because Soulsborne is dodging attacks. I guess for way I play it,
pick
it's
the
very
right
little.
weapon. It's that again,
Yeah.
but it's a bow and arrow. I don't know. It's strange.
But I'm excited to hop in.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
It'll be fun. So I don't know.
That. You're sticking with the charge
I'm
blade?
going to do the charge blade. I don't know what I want as a secondary though. It's almost like
Keep
don't.
the bow.
I think I might do because I'm used to the bow.
If you find that you're like, man, this one is just too airborne. I can't knock him down, or he's whatever.
Yeah, I guess just having a range
but
would be
you're
nice.
gonna have a party of 3, like that, or 4 total, 3 others. That's the thing where it's like if me, Tim, and Derek are playing, and I don't know if we're finding a 4th. I don't know if you're joining. I don't know if Derek's probably got 15 people lined up. He's got a recruitment list, I'm sure. But it's like he knows what I'm playing. He has an idea of what Tim's playing. We know what he's playing. So he's like, we've already got the party built. Tim's always tanky. Derek's always DPS. I'm always trying to support. Like, we've already naturally built that in.
The 4th is just
our 4th
a fill.
is whatever we want. Whatever we need. We need more damage. We need a stun. We need it for this monster. But your group might end up being the same thing. Bethany might really take to the bow. And you go, okay, I don't need the airborne part. And maybe M is like, this hammer is really fun. I like trying to time a fucking shoulder. Like, you literally just shoulder check them into they get stunned.
I think by the end of the beta, we only killed each monster in the beta, and then we're like, cool, we did it. We'll come back for the game.
That's all I did.
We, I think Alec ended on the dual blades. I think Bethany did end up on the bow. M was switching between the hunting horn and the insect glaive. And I think it's just because they were cool, and I didn't know anything about the skill ceiling. I might have to warn her and be like, "Hey, these are like
there's
going to
be videos that are just here's how to be a pro at this," and they're going to give you everything that you're trying to do. Like you're trying to paralyze the monster. You're trying to always do consistent damage from afar. You're trying to do big bursts of damage and then stay alive. Like they'll give you that. They'll tell you where the skill ceiling's at. Of like this is really tough to learn and whatever, and then they'll go through every combo. That's how that video goes. Find that video for the insect and be like, here you go, Em.
Just watch this.
Have her watch this, and she can watch and go, oh no,
yeah,
I don't want to be in charge of any of that,
Yeah.
So,
but also I do want them to just have fun because we're not going hard or trying to go fast.
Well, I will say though, it's kind of like we just want to have fun doing dungeons. We just want to have fun doing the raid. We just want to have fun playing Dark Souls multiplayer.
Yeah.
It's like you can only have fun if you make it to the end though.
That's
right?
true.
Like,
that's true.
And if the game, I don't know how true it is, but if it's like it's not having someone supporting could make this a real bitch. I mean, thinking of New World recently, I was offline, so they all tried doing a dungeon without me, and they were on the 6th run of the boss just getting smoked. I show up with my 1 healing build. I'm just like, I just run through the whole raid to them. I catch up. We do the boss once. None of them got below half health, and the boss was just one shot, like instant. Because it was just like, having a healer changes the way this
whole
functions.
game.
I can press a button and you're all at top, you're all maxed off.
I think I have heard that this one is the most open to new players and the easiest, and so that does help. Gets me more excited instead of being like, hey guys, what do you want to try out a Soulsborne? Let's try the newest one, Elden Ring, and it's just the fucking most obnoxious game to play.
Yeah,
so
take your word for it. I don't know that much, but
Dark Souls 2 is
I've
really
heard that
annoying.
This one is more welcoming, but
So that's good.
I've heard it's all. I mean, we're comparing to World because it's iterative on World. Rise is much more welcoming. Monster Hunter
really?
Stories is a turn-based game. Like
Yeah.
there are other Monster Hunters that are Rise is still got tough monsters in there, but because the weapons are like you can only do these 3 things.
Yeah.
We're limiting your weapons to only instead of having the infinite combo sheet. We're like, no, you can just do those couple things. Just pick your horn based on, or you pick your weapon based on that.
Cool. So you're doing. Well, have you decided now that we're rewatching
No.
them?
Because I saw them. I saw what they want to do. But now that the embargo's lifted, that's what I've always been waiting for.
Now you're waiting
I
for
want the
watching
guy
them.
who was in the beta, who got the embargo thing, who's like, this is how you become a pro horn player. And I'm like, I always want to see what's the end of this look like. Like, there's 5 support options or 5 styles of play I like. Show me how they end. Show me them at max power. Show them at max 1,000 hours of skill. Which one of those do I want? Like fits my play style the best? Like in Diablo, I always like the monk or a demon hunter or whatever for the agility. Demon hunter in this one is the rogue, and the rogue just doesn't play the way I like to play, and that's at the end game. So I was like, okay, not that one. I look towards the end game style play.
It's almost like the video games that give you all the powers in the beginning, then take them away. They're like, this is what you can be.
Yeah. I do that to myself with a video. I go, this is what I can be, and then I come up and I. And I'm like, I know where I'm headed.
I'm going. Don't worry, I'll get there.
There's
I'll
a
get
pretty
there.
fucking clear path the direction
Let
I'm going,
him
dude.
cook.
I'm a
Let him cook.
Yeah. So
Cool.
I want to have, and because I can have 2 weapons, I don't feel locked into one. I think it's just that you're so resource starved in that game on purpose because you have to get your resources from monsters. So if you want 1 set of armor, you have to kill them probably 20 times to get the full set. So you're also min-maxing stats, and you're like, I don't want to take the pieces of whatever Nergigante and turn it into a hunting horn, and then have to fight Nergigante and turn it into a bow. Like I'm probably going to be picking a weapon and just touching another one if I have to go boost Nate because he came a bit late, or maybe I join you and you started a new character for whatever reason. Okay. So who knows?
Cool. Well, that's pretty much our show. We did a lot of good talking about Magiccon, a little bit of recap of what we've been doing, and then talked a little bit about Monster Hunter. We probably could have gone deeper into Monster Hunter, but I think we'll be talking about it a lot probably next week after
We'll be
you
talking
get your
about it
week.
as we play, and we see the different monsters and where are you, what are you finding difficulties with, how do we join with each other,
Stuff like that.
Because the other thing too is with you having it on Xbox and stuff, if you're able to put it on here in any capacity, which I don't know if you will be. I guess if you're signed into yourself, you can be.
Yeah.
But if you play here, I'm playing on my Steam Deck, we could be playing duos
Just to
here
run
at
through
the store.
If it's like we got to run through monsters to see if we can get the drops or something too.
Exactly. Get the drops, or just like, hey, I just want to do a couple missions. I want to start, because there's side missions in the game that get you things you're going to need that
sick.
aren't just monsters. So we'll see.
James, thank you. Have a good one. We'll
James.
see you guys all next time. Stokes, did you have anything else?
I got nothing else.
Then we're going to sign off as we always do and say sweet dreams, and we'll see you for breakfast.